Good evening, everyone. It is Thursday night here on the channel. That means Redline Racing, Corey Arts Media Premier Series racing action, and the round of 14 begins tonight. 3 rounds, races to decide who will become the next 10 drivers to go and contend for the championship over the next 9 weeks. We begin it in all places. Talladega Superspeedway, the wildcard track in this 9-race showcase, and it's myself and Cody Webster calling all the action here at the track. 90 laps on tap in tonight's race, and we had a Thanksgiving break, Cody. Got to get some relaxation in after we crowned Brody Gardner as our regular season champion. Now it's back to work, and it's basically the culmination of all the work they've done over the last 16 weeks or so. Now this is what they work toward. Now it's time to really get the job done.
Yeah, definitely. And, I really think they got the breather after the, crazy tight battle we had going in to try to find out who's going to be the last guy to get in for a 14th spot. So we figured that out. Brody Gardner, like you said, took the regular season championship. But now, after the break they had, a breather, relaxation, of Thanksgiving and everything, they look forward to this lovely track, Talladega, and anything can happen. We saw it. Same type of racing at Daytona this season. Earlier in the first race of the season, we saw Gaetano Papalardo win there in a surprise upset win. Mind you, he's not in the playoffs, but he is in this race, so could he possibly do it again and upset it? Who knows? But we know he's definitely fast, but really, I look at this race as just luck of the draw. You just got to be there at the end, and if you can see the front of the pack coming out of turn 4, you have a shot at the win.
Yeah, absolutely. Riding along with Blaze Brinkley, a driver who's gotten a few stage wins this season, nearly a half dozen. To his credit, nose to tail with Noah Allison down through turns 1 and 2. Be watching them, and of course, a lot of drivers here, they'll be working with teammates, but of course, they'll be working with teammates for just this race. They'll be making friends out there trying to get their agenda underway. We know when we talk about agendas here at this track, there's a number of methodologies to getting around Talladega Superspeedway. There's I call it the Tony Stewart, Kevin Harvick in the old days approach, just dropping to the back and letting the race come to you, and then showing up toward the end and putting all your cards on the table. But then you have the other side of it, the drivers who like to stay at the front, mixing it up and staying right in the lead pack there. If you're in the situation, some of those drivers who may be toward the back of the standings here, what is your game plan in this race? Do you stay toward the back, or do you try to grab some viable points to maybe help your cause later?
Honestly, you got one stage. We don't got 2 stages. It's going to be at the end of lap 22. So honestly, we're looking right here. Like, dude, 10 points really matter to you, because it's one of those things. You could get 10 points, cool. You got 10 points, but then you can literally get wrecked on the next restart. Or even you can get 10 points and get hooked to the start-finish line and wreck, getting 10 points, and you have no car left to finish the race. So cool, you got those 10 points. You maybe get like 15 points to finishing or whatever, last or whatever. But then you lose all those points to everybody else. And you see the grid, the playoff grid, while Brody Gardner, maybe he could be the one to really go ahead and be aggressive, get as many points as he wants. The rest of the guys are so close. Every point's going to matter. So I really don't think this is the track where you go risk it all on, for the stage. I would be protecting myself and being in the back and make sure the car is there at the end to get maximum amount of points then, and be able to say the next 2 races we can go and have a shot at advancing to the next round.
Absolutely. You see there was about 30 seconds left in the practice session. See drivers getting a bit more of a tandem drafting on the way. We've seen 2 and 3 car groups going out there getting some practice here and figuring out how the car is going to feel. And, this is the time to figure out what the limits are of the car, because once you get into the race, it's really kind of just one shot and you're done here, especially because no fast repairs for these drivers. And before we transition to qualifying, that's a look at your playoff field there on the screen. Brody Gardner coming in with those 6 wins, a thunderous regular season on his way to that championship. Nick Miller, 3 wins. Blaze Brinkley, Landon Mills, Sartaj Mann, the winners in that group. Corey Hartz, Michael Rosero, Jordan Kuntz. As I mentioned earlier, the only drivers with bonus points throughout the regular season. And then the drivers who they need to find some rhythm here if they want to keep up with those drivers with those built-in points. Corey Blevins, Casey Drake, Heroics at Charlotte to get into the playoffs. Malachi Drake, Ryan Kendrick, we talked about him going to victory lane here last season to get himself into the championship round. Storm Patterson, who's had a really strong first half of the season, but it's kind of been quiet over the last few weeks here. There in 13th, and Derek Smith, we saw that Tokyo drift he had back at Charlotte 2 weeks ago. He's now completing the group here. 14 drivers will contend for the championship, and over the next 3 races, once we get to the end of Texas, we'll go ahead and bring 10 of those drivers who are above the cutoff line and head off to the next round. And I think begins over at Charlotte Roval, if I'm not mistaken.
We didn't make it easy on these guys. I can tell you that. If it does start at Charlotte Roval, man, what two crazy tracks to have each round to start at.
Yeah, absolutely. And watching some of the drivers head off onto the track here, as we mentioned, the driver who's currently sitting 14th in points, well, really, you could say it's probably in a tie for 9th, considering all those drivers down there have only 3,000 points to their name. It is Derek Smith in the 66th there, running the high side of the track. And, you know, if you've watched NASCAR over the years, you know pretty much this is standard practice for these drivers around this track. Their objective is go ahead and run next to the wall and get that car wound up to set a blistering lap on lap number 2. Talk us through the mindset you have to have and how you approach a qualifying lap here at Talladega as you watch Derek Smith come to the line to begin his first lap.
Honestly, I would say exactly what he's doing is what you want to do, except the way iRacing actually, the one thing I would do differently is move down maybe a half lane off the wall, because of the way iRacing has it now, you got that side draft on the cushion on the wall. It actually pulls you back and actually slows you down more than you actually think. So you kind of want to be off the wall more than he's by the wall. He wants to be maybe a half a car width lower. But ideally, if this is real life, but obviously it's just a game, he's doing exactly what you want to do. Run right against the wall for your first opening lap, and then your warm-up lap, then your first opening lap, run right against the wall, and then you want to just drop it down to the apron, coming at it, coming right before the start finish line, drop it down right there, and the second lap, run right next to the yellow line, hold a tight wheel. Like, I don't know how to go fast. I know how to do it. I just haven't figured it out how to really get that extra half a tenth that you need. It's really all about like just holding your steering wheel really, really like smooth and like not let it float, not kind of turn the car too much in the corner. There's a lot of little tedious things that actually do help you go quicker here, and we'll see what he can do. But like I said, I don't like the line he ran on the first lap, just because I know that iRacing has this side force with the wall that actually slows you down.
So right now, Michael Rosero top of the leaderboard with a 54.74, and then Benjamin White leaping up to second position. So seeing differentiating strategies here with the drivers and how they're approaching qualifying, at least so far in this session right now. We'll see how a driver like Jordan Kuntz, who's out on his second lap right now, clocks in as he comes back to the start-finish line. So really seeing diverging strategies here around Talladega as these drivers try to figure out ways to find the most speed here, getting right next to that yellow line. And even on the simulator here on iRacing, doesn't really show you watching them, but when you're in the car, you see it, how much these cars move around on that low side of the tri-oval, and you see that effort putting Jordan Kuntz in third position as qualifying continues here.
When you see Corey Hart, who ran almost a tenth quicker, which is that's a lot at a Superspeedway, when you just hold, like I said, hold it wide open. You just don't let off the gas. And, a lot of finesse there. And he has a half a tenth. Looks like there on Derek Smith, which that's pretty impressive, honestly.
Absolutely. Storm Patterson, another one of our drivers he'll be watching over the next 3 weeks to see if he can mount a charge and be part of the round of 10 here in 3 weeks' time. And we'll see what he's able to do here as he comes back around to complete his second lap on the clock. See where that puts him here. He was 9th. That moves him to 6th. Right now, as they run, there's a stacked field of drivers here. Probably one of the largest field we've had in a while, and a number of them not qualifying. That number on the side of your screen is not deceiving you. There have only been 9 times, now 10 sets so far here in qualifying, and I wonder if we'll see any more, because there's not that many cars out there opting to qualify here. They're opting us to go ahead and start toward the back, including right now, who's yet to qualify, our defending champion, Cole Williams, in the field here for tonight's race. We'll see what he can do. He's in the 42. Remember, he had a great season back last time we were running the Cup cars here in this league, and he got himself a championship over Michael Rosero. So having a one-off appearance from one of our more decorated drivers here in the Redline Racing family of leagues.
Yeah, I seen his name pop up, and I was like, oh, okay, all right. So maybe he's seen that we have had a little news spark in the headlines this past week that Season 6 is lurking in the wind in 2022. So maybe he's seen that and wants to get his feet wet maybe he's coming back for a chance at another championship run next
And
season.
just short there for Landon Mills to come around for that second lap, but pole sitter grabbing the top of the charts there, showing the speed here. We know when we talk about Corey Hartz, he really talks about maybe not having as much speed as he'd like to at some of these bigger tracks, but remember, he ran extremely well, finished second, if I'm not mistaken, back at Daytona to start the season, and now we're going to start the playoffs here, and he's going to be your pole sitter for tonight's race with a fantastic lap there, a tremendous lap out of him. What a job by Corey Hartz getting the pole tonight here at Talladega Superspeedway.
Yeah, that was an impressive uh, lap for him. Like I said, a half a tenth quicker than his teammate. Actually, his two teammates. Because he got proximity 1, 2, 3. And honestly, I've spoke to them briefly, and they said they actually want to take it easy and not even go for any extra points when they don't need to. But I know the Chase Bonzer, I've known for a while, is very good at qualifying. I just did not know that Corey Hartz is good at qualifying on the super speedway, so that was very impressive out of him. But great to see proximity, putting their name up there right away. 1, 2, 3. So we'll see what they do in the opening laps. If they stay up front or they go to the back, and that's all. Time will tell. But Corey Hart did get 1 point for that pole, so that's one extra point that could make the difference to get to the next round.
Valuable points there, as you mentioned. Derek Smith, Chase Bonzer, Jordan Kuntz, and Michael Rosero, the top 5. Benjamin White, Storm Patterson, Joseph Madigan, Noah Allison, and Casey Drake completing top 10. Eric Heater, Landon Mills, Blaze Brinkley. Cole Williams will start 14th with Nick Miller back in 15th. Brody Gardner deep in the field 16th with his Nebula teammate in 17th, Sartaj Mann. Luke Lofaro, Ryan Kendrick, Andy McDowell completing top 20. Bridger Olson, Malachi Drake, Mitch Hobbs, William Schmidt, Gaetano Papalardo back to 25th. Further down, Luke Peters, Aaron Brown, Corey Blevins, Tara Brinkley, and Parker White completing the group here. We're potentially going to have nearly 3 dozen cars start tonight's race as we look to get rolling here at Talladega.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to have 29 or 30 cars start this race, and this is going to big field. It's going to be 30 cars, yeah. Parker White just joined late, so definitely going to be crazy, and a lot of points are up grabs, or possibly be able to lose.
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be something these guys have to keep in mind here as we get ready for tonight's race and get you that valuable race information for this track here. This Talladega, it needs no introduction. I don't need to give you the Wikipedia fact of this place, but I'll give them to you anyway. 2.66 mile oval, that is 4.28 kilometers for our fans of the metric system. 33 degrees of banking around this temple of speed. 16.5 degrees in the tri-oval. Looks deceptive through there when they're moving through at about 175, 80 miles an hour, but pretty big bit of banking down through there. I think it's just as much as Circuit Zandvoort, where they have the Dutch Grand Prix in F1. Just about as much banking. Look at that, section 90 laps here on tap. That's 240 miles around this circuit. 3 sets of tires waiting for them on pit road, and the stage will end at the conclusion of lap number 22, and we'll see who's up there, who will try to get those points among the drivers inside the championship. The round of 14 competitors, your playoff drivers, who's going to lay back. There's really so many unknowns as we get ready for this race, and we'll try and work through all of them. And of course, that race information brought to you by Circle B Diecast. Be sure to use promo code SOUP at checkout at circlebdiecast.com and get free shipping on orders $20 or more. And Christmas is here. Maybe get some diecasts here. We'll see what these drivers can do once we get going here. Corey Hartz, though, setting a blistering lap time here. And that shouldn't be surprising to us because he was pretty sporty there down at Daytona. If I'm not mistaken, he got the pole there, too.
Yeah, I think he did get the poles out there, so maybe it's not as surprised. Maybe I need to do my homework before I come to a super speedway track. I
think he just sleep. He wants us to sleep on him, and we're going to see how aggressive he is. He is right up there. A number of drivers around him are going to be championship contenders as well. These guys have to look at the big picture here. How are they going to approach this race here? The pace car heading down toward the apron and looking to set this field free here at Talladega. 90 laps on tap for this evening's action, beginning the round of 14. We head to Richmond after this. We head to Texas after that, but right now it's all about Talladega Super Speedway. Corey Hartz is your pole sitter. Derek Smith joins him on his outside, representing proximity. The green flag is out. The playoffs are underway. Looking down the backstretch, you already see them making moves. Some drivers evacuating the lanes, heading to the back. The moves are being made at the front as well. Derek Smith drops down, grabs the lead as they head off into turns 3 and 4.
A lot of guys just backing out. They know it's a long race, and they know a caution is going to happen at lap 22.
Look at this already. Coming off turn 4, they're so strung out toward the back there, maybe just outside, roughly 15th place. They start getting real thin back there in the field, but it's a battle for the lead. Jordan Kuntz dueling with Derek Smith on the inside, coming to the line. Jordan Kuntz will lead lap 1 of the playoffs.
Lead lap 1, and that's a point for him. So he wants to get some points. So that's an extra point. Like I said, every point will matter, especially with a big field like this. So I'm interested. The guys up front right now, maybe they're just trying to see how it is for a little bit and then decide to drop back. But those are the guys I thought would be in the back, honestly, riding around.
Yeah, looking at these guys, look how much these cars move around as they're sliding around this wide racing surface here at Talladega. I'm curious if that's just handling or they're just trying to find ways to get to the back bumper of the cars in front of them, because we've known over the years these cars can be a handful around this track.
Oh yeah, definitely can be a handful, especially when you don't push correctly in the corner. You can actually bumper hook someone really easy with these cars. So you want to be finesse with those pushes. And for a second, we saw 3 wide, potentially trying to start with Cole Williams, and looks like Nick Miller, who said he's going to start park tonight, trying to make the outside work. As I say, 3 wide. Here we go. I think that is Andy. No, that's Landon Mills. They're all similar pink screens over there, Nebula. But Landon Mills going to the outside of, looks like Joseph Madigan and Corey Hart are going to try to make it 3 wide, but really not making any headway, and some more guys are dropping out.
Absolutely. Look at this getting real racy as we look at it from above in the blimp cam. Up on the high side, there's Nebula Esports with the 42 of Cole Williams, the defending champion, and 25 of Landon Mills. They race off into turns number 3 and 4.
Side by side, well, 3 by 3 back behind. But he got to move around so much, especially the guys in the middle. See another Nebula guy drop out to the outside. That is actually Andy McDowell right there, jumping in front of Landon Mills to the outside, kind of dropping back. You know, if I'm in this group right now, do I think to drop out of it? I mean, honestly, I would. It's so early. You want your race to be ruined on lap 4. As you see the 50 of Benjamin White go to, wow, that was a crazy move going to the inside of Derek Smith, and he's going to take the lead with the help of Jordan Kuntz behind him. Derek Smith's going to get left out. Wow, this is not the spot Derek Smith wanted to be in. He's backing up. Looks like
no, not at all. I mean, look at this here. It's turning into a traffic jam out there as you watch them head off toward turn number 3. It's getting hectic out there, and for me, watching them 4 laps in, nearly 5, these guys are getting real racy here. Seeing spots of 4 wide here, and do you want to be doing that this early here, or is it just everyone trying to get in position to really get to that freight train mode and see become a part of these restricted plate races? Or do you think this is going to be indicative of what we're going to see all night here? These guys just moving around and trying to move through the field no matter what stage of the race it is.
Well, you know, I think it's just going to be how hard everybody wants to race, but then we see everybody just now go back down to 2 wide, and Derek Smith took the lead and led that lap. So, and then we see Ryan Kendrick behind Nick Miller right there. So, oh man, I don't know. I mean, you know, the racing is aggressive, but they went 3 wide for a lap, and they said, okay, not good enough, and then they went now let out and take it easy again. So then I don't know what they're doing behind. It looks like they're trying to figure out who wants to go 3 wide and who doesn't want to go 3 wide. So Derek Smith leads over Nick Miller. Nick Miller looks like he's trying to figure out a way around Derek Smith, and Derek Smith drops down. Nick Miller's going to stay high.
Nick Miller started a little further back in the field than probably he wanted to. Started well outside the top 10. Now up roughly 12 spots here now, looking to try and battle for the lead as it becomes 3 wide again through the tri-oval, all led by Nebula Esports, and looking like another car joining that group up there on the outside line as well. The 54 getting in the thick of things as Luke Lofaro back into 13th position. And now we have 3 wide racing, 3 by 3 by 3 here at Talladega off turn 2.
Pushing hard. Oh, they might go 4 for a second. Jordan Kuntz said, nope, this is not for me, and he backs out wisely, and I like that move. Let me stay with that move. He dropped right back to his teammate, Corey Blevins.
Smart move there. You can kind of just feel the temperature of a race beginning to change as you see all that 3 wide racing, and sometimes you get the inkling, let me just go ahead and back out of this. You don't follow that inkling, and sometimes we call up in a crash. We're seeing Jordan Kuntz play conservative here early as the battle for the lead continues here. Nick Miller outside through the tri-oval, and now the Zero having some issues there on the high side of the track, well up there by himself. He'll lose a few places, but now Nick Miller out front leading this race.
Miller actually wants to start a part of the race, but he got a point we're leading right there. So maybe that's what he wanted to do, and he's going to be dropping it out. Maybe, I don't know. He said he wasn't going to run this whole entire race, but here we see Ryan Kendrick drop out, and oh, wow, okay. Literally everybody just left Nick Miller. That is, I've never seen a whole entire pack just say, nope, we're not working with him. So that was wild for a second.
Getting chaotic here again, now 3 wide yet again, going in turns 3 and 4. Side by side, we continue to duel for position there to 20. Sliding around there, there's Andy McDowell in the middle of things. We know he is also pretty strong. I think restricted play tracks. I'm talking about Nebula Esports, looking like they brought their entire stable out for tonight's race.
Yeah, White looks like a new recruitment to Nebula. Then you got Andy McDowell, Landon Mills, Cole Williams. 2 guys that actually aren't in this pack right now, which I feel like are the safest guys right now. Way back 23 seconds behind the pack is Sartaj Man and Parker White. Parker White's not with Nebula, but they do like working with Parker White a lot. But Sartaj Man, one of the playoff drivers, 23 seconds back, and I actually like his position.
Yeah, you got him right there. You notice how far away he is from this group. Cody having a great eye on the track here. So far behind, basically almost a half a lap down at this point of the race. And that gap is going to continue to climb here as he works with the 95 down to turns 1 and 2.
They're working together, and you know, I don't think they're gonna lose a lap as we're coming to complete lap 8, so I think they should be fine as long as they stay together. But definitely, I like the spot they're in, just because if a wreck happens, they're not in it, so they don't, you know, Sartaj's not going for those points, and you know, I don't blame them. I don't blame them at all. As up front, looks like that Andy McDowell took the lead over Benjamin White, and we actually haven't seen Andy McDowell that much this season. He's been an MIA. I think he's been a lot of busy with personal life stuff, so good to see him back. And like you said, Nebula did bring everybody out, so the guys that we haven't seen in a while, they are here.
Yeah, absolutely, and you're seeing this thing really racing as they head off toward turn number 3, mostly 2 wide toward the front there. A couple of rows of 3 wide as they work into turns 3 and 4 here. Everyone minding their P's and Q's here, and as they work out of turn number 4, coming to about halfway, a couple of laps away from halfway in the stage, you start thinking about tire strategy, and that's something we mentioned coming into the race as they're getting rolling. Here they really move around there. I'll pause and talk about that in a moment as things get really fanned out here. He across the line for lap 10. Still leading is Benjamin White, but 3 wide, bursting out of the seams due to Triable heading into 1.
Benjamin White is actually controlling the lines pretty well, and he moves I would have slowed down. And you know, mentioned a lot of strategies that can happen, even fuel. Gotta know how long they can make enough fuel. Can they make it 22 laps on fuel? I'm pretty sure they can. I don't think that's an issue, but obviously they're going to get a fuel number right now working for the later in the race if they do get a long run. But there's a guy I want to mention right now who's actually having a great run early on. A guy we used to talk about when he made select starts in the Truck Series, and that's William Smith, who's on the second car on the inside line behind Benjamin White. He's having a great run so far and really keeping his nose clean as, wow, Benjamin gets a little loose in front of him.
Yeah, William Schmidt, I was noticing that there. He's gained a load of positions in this race so far, 22 to be exact right now, in that 79 car right behind the 50, heading into turns 1 and 2. When you look at the number of vehicles up there, it's currently 1, 2, 3 Supras right now. It's being 3 wide, 1, 2, 3 as they come down the backstretch here. They're getting real racy out there. It's almost like they're racing like we're only a couple of laps away from the checkered flag, but there's so much race left here. Could this also be drivers kind of just saying, I want to see what this car can do now, and then save some of that for later?
I definitely think so. I think Benjamin McNabb decided that he's going to go to the back, got what he needed. Maybe, like you said, test to see how hard the pushes were and how the blocking was. I mean, he did some phenomenal blocking there. Like I said, blocking, I wouldn't do this early on in the race. But these guys are probably definitely getting a test, so they just want to stay out front. Maybe, hopefully, the wreck doesn't happen out front, happen in the middle. So, I mean, you know, there's safe spots in this race. But track, you know, if you're the front runner, or if you're in the back where you can have enough time to slow down for a wreck happening. So I think those are the 2 spots you want to be. But, you know, speaking about getting some knowledge about the race and who's not up front right now is actually your regular season champion, Brody Gardner. He's been probably the lone Nebula, aside from Sartaj Man, car that's not been up front. And he's riding back there, looks like with another two playoff drivers, Casey Drake and Malachi Drake, not related, but they share the same last name. And even Jordan Coons is back there. So you got 4 playoff drivers just riding in the back and on their P's and Q's and really not getting any knowledge up front, but I don't really think they care.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's all about the big picture here as we watch these guys work through the trial over there, all right around one another. Malachi Drake, we see Drake with the Gardner and Jordan Cruz not too far away, a couple of cars ahead to be exact there. And we watch them, like I said, if you have an understanding of how to run these tracks, and we've seen many of these cars you talked about there toward the front end, these restricted plates, there's no need, if you feel like you have the car and get up there and run for the win or a strong finish, no need maybe trying to wreck it right now or getting yourself in a bad position here. And we're seeing these drivers really get up there and race hard for every position they can here. And looking at the front, you're seeing even drivers who were kind of become part-timers here in the series, despite their decorated nature here in the series, make an appearance here right in the middle of all of this consternation at the front of the field. It's going to be your defending champion, Cole Williams, making an appearance here in tonight's race in the 42.
Williams up there. But now we see new guys up front. Oh, they're trying to go 4 wide. It looks like 4 wide. Oh my goodness.
Look at the stream. You see it there. You're looking at the same virtual window I am. That is 4 wide right there in the middle of the field, and you're seeing it get real hectic there on the aprons of 19. This is not a good position to be in. The 19 still trying to hang on to it down there.
Wow. How did they all... I mean, that was 4 wide. But clearly, wow. What a save.
Yeah, absolutely. What a save there. Hanging on to that. Somehow he keeps it straight there. He's going to fall back in the field. They're back to 14th right now, which is right around where he started the race. And what this also has done, they're going to spread out this field and allow a new driver to take the lead here. Michael Rizzero out front, leading him off turn number 4.
To the word again, he didn't start up front, and now he got to the front and going to lead some laps. And you got Derek Smith behind him. Derek Smith's been up front the whole entire race so far. Hasn't really left up front. Then you got, like we said, William Smith, and then Benjamin White, who made that 4 wide move, splitting everybody. So maybe some guys not too happy about that move early on, because like I said, it was only lap 15. So still, like I said, I had 4 wide. I even think 3 wide too early, but maybe I'm just scared. Maybe that's just me. But I'm telling you, I want a car for the end. So maybe it's not just being scared, it's just being smart. And so many guys are smart. Like I said, I'm very surprised at the guys that are up there. I thought a lot more of them would be laying back.
Absolutely. Derek Smith round the back bumper there of Michael Rizzero working his way through turns 3 and 4. Inside that car, just ahead of him there, you see him going the way he's back now. Rizzero leading this field. Head off toward the trial.
Rizzero doing a great job leading some laps, getting some knowledge up front, like you said, maybe some knowledge a lot of these guys need. Then you got the whole entire freight train of the 4 Nebula cars on the outside with Benjamin White leading that, and the tail guy for that is Nick Miller, who had that incredible save, which I don't know how he didn't lose it. An incredible heads-up driving by a lot of guys in the back, because that could have been a lot worse than it actually was.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, sometimes you you have those moments, you just kind of hope that everyone around you is cognizant of what's going on and can react and see the car going sideways there toward the back of the field.
Chase Bonser got hit. He didn't wreck. Did he wreck it? Oh, he might have wrecked it.
Yeah, hit the wall there hard right there on the inside. We stay green here right now, but hard impact on the wall for him there as we continue running. Lap 16 coming to 17. He'll get it back going and try to rejoin this group, but a lot of damage there to the front and back of that number 81 proximity machine.
It looked like a lot of checking up, and someone didn't check up for Chase, and unfortunately for him, he got nosed in. That's one proximity guy down, and I think that nose damage is going to hurt him a lot.
Oh, absolutely.
Honestly.
It was a hard impact, too, as we see on the replay there. Because of all the racing action, we'll jump right back to live pictures here, and you see him going to pit road right as the leaders are heading down the backstretch here, so a lot of damage there obviously in that car. And then, like you said, that's going to hurt him here as we go further into this race. And we know this track is aerodynamically sensitive. You got to have your cars keep it clean, and that's kind of the situation you see there. And the other thing these kind of situations kind of affect the race is it spreads everyone out again, and we've noticed this field spinning out more and more. So seeing these packs kind of stretch out a bit, and then they contract again and come back together. So now we're in that stretched out phase. We may see them contract back together as we get close to the end of this first and only stage.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I want to be in the back. I don't need those stage points, but these guys are pushing really hard. It's putting on a phenomenal race. I got to tell you, they do an incredible job with how aggressive their racing is at the same time. But after, like you said, this little mishap with the way everybody bumped and had to check up, it did put some guys that were up front in the back. They're probably just riding there. Justin Madigan, I think, was up front. I know Corey Hart was. Now he's in the back. So they migrated themselves to the back, and still have you have Mitch Hobbs back there actually also too. So some guys migrated to the back, but you still have this wide racing, which honestly is incredible.
Yeah, they put on a good show here. We're seeing some drivers who started with the front line back as well. You see Corey Hart's sitting back here with Joseph Madigan. This is 21st position. Corey Hart's sitting right now. Started on the front row. 20 for him, so falling back a little bit there. And you notice there might be a little bit of damage on the front of that car and the rear as well. So maybe the rear not hurting so much considering all the bump up there here. But you see some damage on the front of the back. So maybe might get that fixed on pit road. And thankfully this track is so big, you probably can fix most of that pretty easily as Tara Brinkley approaches the camera there in 91. She is currently there for 29th, and now they'll go a lap down.
28 gets to the 91, which has a 28 on the side of that. Got out of the way, thank God. But I think there was an issue. I think someone just spun down to the apron on the backstretch, and I have no clue who did. Watching all this stuff go on. And
I'll certainly leave you to investigate who that was, and we'll figure out what happened there. A driver who you've been watching throughout this evening. Now he's back in 26th place there.
He got hooked by Nick Miller. Wow. And another car spinning to the apron when no caution comes out. That's one of those things. You don't want to spin to that apron on a backstretch.
No, not at all. We'll see if we can see what happened there. Right off the nose of the 19, hangs on to the catch that ball hard. That's safe a barrier. Actually, no barrier there. Just no give in that car, and it's a lot of damage there to the 42.
A lot of damage. They're going to be coming to 2 to go for the stage.
Absolutely, still racing hard for the lead here. The 50 out front, Benjamin White, Bridger Olson, Randall Mills, and McDowell, Michael Rosero, the top 5. 2 by 2 to at least the first 6 or 7 rows.
A lot of Camrys up there. A lot of Camrys. This must be the Camry 500.
Yeah, absolutely. Or we'll go and start Toyota Owners 400, not to take any credit away from Richmond Raceway. Lap number 21, 2 by 2 at the front right now with the 4 on the outside. Bridger Olson mixing things up. Landon Mills, Andy McDowell, Michael Rosero, top 5. Ludo Farrell and Corey Blevins up there in 7th position, up 22 spots here. So seeing a lot of people move through this field very fluidly here. So it's be hard to say someone's the biggest gainer of the race right now because anyone can gain an easy couple of dozen positions here. They race hard into turns 3 and 4. They're 3 wide again as we approach the end of the stage.
3 wide, and I do not want to be here. They're coming to 1 to go on the stage.
Great racing here during the first stage of the first race of the playoffs here in the Corey Hart's Media Premier Series. And you see Bridger Olson and Benjamin White racing for the lead here as they come to 1 to go.
1 to go. Who will be the guy to get the stage win, and who will be the 10 guys to get stage points? We see, oh, Andy McDowell.
And contact there. Big crash, and there it is. This is what we talked about. Will we see the big crash? And it happens right at the end of the first stage. That's a lot of cars involved in that one. Go ahead and try and rack up the number of cars who were involved in that crash. We talked about the early hard racing we're seeing here, and this is the result. This is what can happen. Huge crash here right at lap number 22, which would have been the end of the stage and only about a lap or so.
Well, Benjamin White got the stage win. We saw a couple cars go up in the wall. We got 54, a lot of a lot of playoff drivers in that, so they're going to have to try to get their cars fixed to try to. But that is a lot. That is
tornado of cars off into turn 2, just chaos. That's all you can call it. Massive chaos there. You see Jordan Kuntz trying to drive through that. Rosero involved. You see 98 trying to snake his way through that.
The caution will be on the 20.
A lot of cars just involved in that. Storm Patterson right in the thick of all that happening. Derek Smith spinning. Rosero spinning. I'm losing count of how many drivers could have been involved in that one.
That was...
Right along with Gaetano Papalardo, he gets a piece of this as well. Your winner at Daytona earlier this season. As he tries to drive away.
Well, some guys have damage, some guys don't. I want you to go on board with the guy that probably had the most incredible killer drive through that would be Storm Patterson. I don't know how he did it. I really don't.
Gotcha. We'll go and take a look at that. You see the 9 from above driving through that. Let's see if we can get our eyes on Storm Patterson here. We're going to leave it back one more time. Storm there in the 6 car. Right in the middle of this happening. That's just terrifying to see as you're trying to snake your way through a crash here and somehow, some way able to find his way through it. Jumping back to live pictures here at Talladega, massive crash, collecting a number of drivers here. Pit road now open for the field who survived that crash, and others who are trying to fix their damage here. Benjamin White will be crowned a stage winner as well. So stage complete, Benjamin White will get the stage victory there. And let's go ahead and debrief here. First caution of the night, and it is, we wouldn't call it likely the biggest one of the nights if we see anything maybe matching that later this evening. But what are your takeaways from what you saw there? That crash breaking out, Storm Patterson first off pit road with Benjamin White, your stage winner, in second.
I mean, if it was going to happen, it was going to happen big, and it did, unfortunately, and catching a lot of these playoff drivers in now a hole, because you see the guys that got stage points there. I don't know if they got damaged, but you know, some of them were like Landon Mills, you know, who definitely, you know, need the points because he's in that he's close to that bubble. You know, he only has 4 points to the good, so he needs points. So he got 9 points there, which is incredible. So some of the guys that have issues, I would have to look back and see where everybody was running, but you know, definitely, like I said, when put yourself in a hole. So now they got to go out there for the next, you know, 60 something laps and ride around with damage and try to outbeat the other guys that have damage, or hope there's another wreck like this. And you know, some of the guys that unfortunately look like it's out of the race: Andy McDowell, Luke LaFaro, William Smith, Luke Peters, Cole Williams, Case Bonds already had issues, so it's just eliminated the field and cut it down big time. Now, out of all those guys that I just mentioned, none are playoff drivers that are officially out. So, you know, that's good, but then we know that some of them have damage, so it's going to be a little, obviously, tougher on them going forward.
Yeah, we see Ryan Kendrick leaving the pits here. Derek Smith still stationary in his pit right now. Michael Rosero recently leaving as well. So you saw as we were looking from above, switching to the main cameras here as Storm Patterson works his way down through turns 3 and 4 onto the straightaway here to Trioval. You know, when we look at this situation here, as you were talking and walking through everything, we had the names of the drivers and where they were entering tonight's race and what the point situation looked like. You know, some of those drivers who had very few bonus points here, including, say, for example, Michael Rosero, Jordan Kuntz, Corey Blevins, Casey Drake, they had a bit of a piece of this action as well, unfortunately. So that's going to hurt them here because they're really in a dogfight with a lot of those drivers who only have a handful of stage points to their name right now. And seeing this is really going to turn this race on its head. And this could benefit a driver like Storm Patterson, who is exiting the pits now, currently scored 5th. Entering this race, he was 13th in points. So just based on what happened here, it completely can turn the look of these playoffs upside down here as we look toward Richmond next race.
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, you don't want to come out of here with a hole, put yourself in a hole where you have to do really, really well. Richmond and then, you know, Texas. It's definitely going to be difficult. And you see Casey Drake falling a lap down. Maybe he's just falling a lap down to just get the most, he's getting prepared. Same with Scots Madigan. Joe Allison, I think his car shot. You know, you got, I don't know, William Smith doesn't have that much damage, but he went a lap down, so it'll be interesting to see if he has, so he has some damage on the rear. Corey Blevins, he has a little damage. So we're just trying to go through I mean, Derek Smith has no nose, so that's just going to be tough. Rosero has a little bit of damage, William Brinkley, Dalton. Kendrick, he has a little bit of damage. Same with Corey Hartz. Landon Mills looks like he's, not too bad. We saw no start time. Man, he's good. He has none. Brody Gardner, Jordan Kuntz, Malachi Drake. They look like they're all clean, and even for most part, Nick Miller. So there are some guys that are definitely clean up there.
Absolutely, giving you guys another look at that crash. We switch back to live pictures here, and still behind the pace car here, looking to get the green flag, and expect to get that next time by as we get 2x2 here with Malachi Drake serving as, looking like he'll be the race leader. We still should be getting ready to get the green flag. No, maybe next time I will go ahead and get it.
We're getting it. I think we're getting it this time. It's just everybody topped off, so they're all single file.
Mitch Hobbs is going to be your lead car for this restart. Malachi Drake, Corey Hartz, and Ryan Kendrick top 4. Bridger Olson completing top 5. Nick Miller, Storm Patterson, Jordan Kuntz, Benjamin White, your stage winner, and Brody Gardner completing the top 10. You saw the big crash there affecting a number of cars. How's it going to affect the pace of the remaining moments of this race? We got a whole long final stage ahead of us. Let's see what plays out here. It's going to be a wild one. Getting ready for the green flag back here at Talladega Superspeedway. The lead car will be that lovely number 90 there, Malachi Drake. We're back underway here at Talladega.
That's underway. With all the cars starting single file right there, it's going to separate the field big time, especially with drivers that have damage throughout the field.
Now, if you're one of these drivers who doesn't have a lot of damage, are you going to try and figure out a way to link up with some of the other drivers who are pretty clean and pull away from this group, or are they just going to start attacking each other and try and get some laps led here? Kind of how do you think a crash like this changes the complexion of a race?
But it definitely puts less cars in competition than so you as a driver know who now you're really battling with. But at the same time, like, going to be wide and early, you want to do this and then potentially get yourself caught up in a wreck when you know that you have a little bit of a advantage over some of the other guys that have damage. So that's a whole question of cat and mouse right there. I wouldn't be doing what they're doing right now. I'd probably get single file or, you know, 2 wides, fine, and just try to pull away from the guys that have damage and separate yourself. And less cars in a pack is better for you, and you feel a little safer. But these guys want to push really hard, and Brody Gardner's trying to go to the front on the outside would help with Sartaj Man, which Sartaj Man was living life back 30 seconds behind the pack, just, I don't know, probably sipping on some tea or whatever. So he was enjoying life back there with Parker White, and now he's back in this thing. So now he has to put his tea down and go to work and help out his teammate up front. So a lot more stressful for him.
Absolutely. So Sartaj Man right there in the thick of things with the 55 Brody Gardner now 3 wide in turns 3 and 4. We talked about it a moment ago. He was able to be pretty successful there now, left all alone to his own devices in the middle lane. Off turn number 4, Brody Gardner, he is your regular season champion, and he got that title last race back at Charlotte Motor Speedway. He won the victory lane there, which has been an incredible season for him. 6 wins, 10 top 10s, and over 460 laps led this season.
Yeah, he's been very impressive. He has been the Dylan Alt of the series, and if we want to compare it to the truck series, he's been the Parker White of the series, so he's definitely been very dominant and been putting numbers that have been incredible, and obviously making himself, you know, showing a case of him being a championship contender and the threat to win the title.
Absolutely. 3 wins in his last 5 races as well. An incredible streak for him as he now drops to the low side of the track there with his teammate on the inside line. As the 0 gets sideways there on the inside line. He hangs on to it, but he'll drop back as a result.
Thing for him right there, because he might lose the draft, and oh, he built sideways. Oh, what?
He's going to lose that car too. Hits the wall hard there on the inside line. And we watched it there happen. He had it under control, and then really hard impact there with the inside wall.
Yeah, he looked like he got a netcode hit from the foot. Wow, that's unfortunate. So now he's going to take it down pit road. Another person having issues. So, this 1 separates the pack. 2, now you put yourself like, oh, now Brody Gardner's dropping me out. So I'm really confused. Maybe Brody's like, nope, too early. So I mean, there's still enough guys in the playoff running up there to where if you have an issue, it can hurt you. So they can use this one back. So that was another playoff driver who didn't need that to happen. So Brian Kendrick looks like he's going to fall a lap down after probably making some repairs.
Landon Mills now out front here. I was watching him right before that crash at the end of the first stage because he was looking like he was trying to make a move there. Heading to the pits now, going to the inside. You see the 57 making contact there with the 25. They'll duel across the line here. They'll help Sartaj Man lead that lap, and now creates a whole bit of chaos coming into turn number 1. I was going to say, he was looking to try and lead a lap there, and won't do it that time as he'll fall back in the field again, gets thinned out some more as a result.
Guys are really duking it out crazy, and I don't know what they're doing. They still don't know what they're doing. I feel like they're just winging it right now, and they don't realize they still have 60 laps.
That's right, your pole sitter now back out front here, leading this group through turns 3 and 4 down the inside line. Sartaj Man behind him here as they race off the corner in the middle. You see also getting the mix here, I think that's William Schmidt. He's currently a lap down in 20th position and holding speed here as well because he knows if the caution comes out, this could be very beneficial for him as well.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious why he went a lap down. It doesn't look like the car had that much damage or that much to get repaired. So, you know, it sucks that he's a lap down because his car is so quick, and he's helping Sartaj Man try to get to the lead. So, if he does get a caution, obviously it's going to be beneficial because right now he's going to look the low spot and put him back on a lead lap. As we just recently seen Nick Miller, he pitted a lap ago. He is finally retired for the race, starting park. So he got what he wanted for it. He wasn't going to be able to finish the race. So technically, that is another playoff driver having issues, but got the most of when he was here. So we'll see how much it hurts him. He was one of the guys up there at the top of the standings, but obviously still going to hurt him a little bit not being able to finish this race out.
Yeah, coming into tonight's race, 3 wins, 11 bonus points for him here in playoffs here at Talladega. But certainly when you have a field of this size, over 20 plus cars starting tonight's race, nearly 3 dozen, that's a big drop here, but hopefully he's going to be cushioned a bit and not have to fall too far behind and have to dig himself out of a hole as we look toward our next 2 races in the playoffs here, going to Richmond Raceway 200 laps, and the Commonwealth of Virginia, the RVA Racing 200, and then Texas Motor Speedway, which put on a great show for us last season. They'll host the final race in this round, and we'll cut it off and bring 10 drivers with us to head over to Charlotte Roval here in only about 3 weeks.
It's going to be a crazy couple of weeks to see what happens.
Absolutely. I'm really excited to see how these drivers can adapt to this crazy schedule. And a race like this here at Talladega can kind of just throw you off sorts because anything can happen. Your race can be ended because of just circumstances beyond your control. As they say, wrong place, wrong time. And we saw that play out during lap number 22, where a number of championship drivers were wiped out in a massive crash in the middle of turn 2.
See the leaders putting some more cars a lap down. Casey Drake going a second lap down. Joe Dramatic going a lap down. Corey Blevins went a lap down. So Casey Drake, Corey Blevins with damage out there, still trying to putt around, but obviously now down laps and down speed to the leaders. So next up is Derek Smith going a lap down. So narrowing the field down. Once they lap Derek, that'll be 16 guys left in the lead lap, which is still a decent amount of cars. And we still technically do have 23 drivers left in this race with 22, with Ryan Kendrick being 3 laps down in 20 seconds. Still trying to figure out if he can fix that car, but he's doing what he can with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Trying to hang on to that thing, and now Landon Mills will finally get that lap lead he's been seeking since lap 22, roughly. Now out front here with his Nebula teammate, the 50 of Benjamin White, your stage winner. So seeing these drivers just kind of find their way around each other and get out front here. Benjamin White, right among them, helping out his Nebula teammates.
Derek Smith stays at the apron, lets these guys go by, being very courteous with their leaders. He goes to lap downs, and now 16 guys left in the lead lap. There's one guy, Parker White, I've never seen him drive a Ford in the whole entire iRacing career, at least since I've seen him racing. He's in a Ford. Kind of really strange. When I seen a black Ford out there, I was trying to figure out if it was him, and it is him, helping Benjamin White, giving a huge push to him right now. He just them 2 up top, so it's going to be a little bit harder. The inside has more cars down there, but doing what he can. But yeah, like I said, it's really strange to see him in the Ford this week.
Right there on the back bumper, now looking to the inside, now back behind the back bumper of Benjamin White, sandwiched in between Landon Mills and the 50, working through turns 1 and 2 on the outside line, trying to form up behind the 57 of Corey Arts.
Yeah, now these guys, as these guys get a little separated, now they come to start thinking like, okay, fuel. How long can we go on fuel? Who are we going to work with? Who's the teammates? Obviously, right now, you see Parker White blocking Benjamin. Like, wow, what a block and what a kind of save right there by Parker White. But that just screwed up Benjamin. He's going to put Benjamin back. And here comes Jordan Coombs on the outside of Gaetano Papalardo. We don't know what's going on. Parker's blocking. They're going 3. All right. So Parker's not going to give up the lead. That's what it looks like.
No, not at all, but he's got some strong drivers behind him. Gaetano Papalardo, the Daytona winner, who made his way through that crash relatively unscathed in comparison to the crash impact we saw to other drivers during that race. And then you see Jordan Kuntz there. He was right in the thick of things, now falling back. He's behind his group, still inside the top 10, falling back to about 8th right now. But seeing 2 drivers at the front right now who have gained a considerable amount of spots, 30 spots gained by Parker White, and Gaetano Papalardo, 24 spots there. 95 moves around on the outside, goes Gaetano, racing into 3.
They got Parker moved. You know, they would, I don't know if they were trying to just get him from the lead, and they did it, but it definitely looks like no one was trying to work with him after all that blocking. And then you see Blaze Brinkley trying to take the lead.
Blaze Brinkley, a driver who has been well known to get around these tracks in terms of getting to the front for these stage wins. 5 so far this season, but hasn't been a big thing. Myrtle Beach way back earlier in the season, and now trying to flex his muscle here. He's one of those drivers who's part of the playoff picture, and now trying to get those valuable points he wants at the end of the race. Now stage not a factor right now after finishing a little further back, but right now he's now trying to get himself a lap lead.
Yeah, he's trying to get himself a lap lead, and I want a notable in this race. It says Tara Brinkley didn't know who was on the account. It's actually his younger brother, Bryson Brinkley. So we want to welcome him to the league. He does have the wrong number on, so bear with me. But this is his first race, and Blaze told him to come out here and get some practice on big tracks. And obviously, this is an easier track to get practice on. But he's having a great run right now, and looks like just inside the top 10. So keeping that car clean, and he did go a lap down tonight, but he's staying in the grab and doing what he needs to do, getting some experience.
Learning from the best here in the league as he stays in the pack right now, right around the 7th position, as now the 9 of Gaetan Papalaro looks to attack on the low side of the track. They're on the 91.
Yeah, Gaetano's trying. Gaetano's damage doesn't look like it's hurting him. I know Gaetano was really looking for a playoff spot this season after that opening win in the initial first race of the season. Just did not pan out this season. Between him not being able to complete races, him getting involved in wrecks. I mean, he's had speed week in, week out. He just not had the finishes that he needed. And he tried to make a late season charge to try to get there, but just couldn't get there. But we know next season, if he does come back, he will be strong and hopefully have a little more consistency added to his belt.
Absolutely. As you mentioned, he knows how to run at these tracks as well. Out front, running at Daytona and Talladega is nothing new for him. Going to victory lane back at Daytona earlier this season. Opened the season, it just seemed like after getting that win, wrong place, wrong time with the story of his opening 8 races or so, being just around crashes that were happening and being in a position where someone just clips him the wrong way and ends up sending him into a wall. You know, those things add up over a season. It's hard to overcome them, but you try just to finish up the season on the right foot right now as he now settles in behind the rest of the field here, coming through turns 3 and 4.
Through turn 3 and 4, we come up to another lap car, 2 lap cars. Corey Blevins just out of the way, and then here comes, lapping him again for the second time, and here comes Ryan Kendrick getting lapped again. I think that's his 4 laps down. So now these guys are just out there just really, I think they're hoping for each other to blow up. Trying to get points. Because you got Casey Drake out there going now. He's going 3 laps down. So yeah, these guys are playing cat and mouse on whose motor can last the longest.
Yeah, and that was 3 straight playoff drivers who were lapped in that stretch of track from the exit of turn 4 all the way through turns 1 and 2. So seeing much like real life, where we saw during the playoffs, many playoff drivers kind of be in the wrong place and just end up kind of being eyed by random chance being involved in these crashes and having bad luck. Happening here in the first race of the playoffs, and I'm sure these drivers are looking toward Richmond and Texas as an opportunity to bounce back because, you know, we have a lot of drivers who are really good on those short tracks. We have drivers who are great on 1.5-mile intermediate ovals, and those could be a good reset for them, but already facing a deficit with a number of drivers here. And right now up front, Benjamin White and Parker White, they're White's leading and continuing to hold off the rest of the field here heading through turns 1 and 2. Landon Mills rising to the high line with Brody Gardner not too far behind, trying to close the gap. Yeah,
these guys are, these guys are racing really hard. It really don't look like they're really finding anybody to work together with. No one really has a guy there taking the stick with. I mean, only 2 people I think are working together right now is William Smith and Benjamin White, but they're not even on the same lap. So it's like really difficult to try to depict who is working together and who's not working together, or who has a plan, you know, because pit stops are going to be coming up soon. I'd say shortly. They're trying to get in the pit window to get to the end of the race. So I got to think we restarted on lap 26, mistaken? 26? Okay, so it's 14 laps, 15 laps right now. We figure they go another 15 laps, 55. I think they got to go at least another 17 laps to get it. I think to be safe.
Gotcha. So still working through our long green flag run here. Like you mentioned, the last time most of the field was on pit road was right around lap number 22, 23 or so for these guys. So, I'm sorry, lap 23 rather. So, you know, it's going to be interesting to see how the strategy plays out here. It looks like, whoa, the 28 having some issues there. That's the 91 on the scoring pylon. Tara Brinkley hanging on to it. Keeps it going, and now we'll fall back a little bit there. And like you mentioned, trying to learn these big tracks, you gotta learn about that too. And good save in that moment of reaction from them, and now able to keep going. And he'll fall back a little bit and try and get back in order with the rest of the drivers around him on the low side. The 49 Sartaj man, the 55 Billy Gardner, all looking to pass.
Well, the question I have is once you get in your fuel window, you'd want to pit. Get them guys to pit and get it out of the way to where you don't have to worry about racing in a pack or a big pack to get yourself caught up in a wreck. I mean, that's what I would do.
Yeah, I think that's the mindset that some of these drivers will have, is trying to get together with their teammates here. I think when you look at the numbers, you're seeing the likes of Nebula Esports begin to assemble toward the front, and they're likely talking about this in their communications, figuring out how they're going to attack this upcoming pit stop here, and very intrigued to see how coordinated they are getting on the pit road, because you know this pit road is not hard to get onto. It's about trying to fan out and give each other room to slow down, but of course you don't want to slow down too much when you're giving too much time entering the pits. And then of course you want to get that pit stop done, coordinate what you guys are going to do, be it just no tires, 2 tires, whatever the plan is. As you see, if you have to get a little loose there, get that plan together and synchronize your exit so you all come together on the apron of the track and start chaining up to get into a slipstream down the backstretch and get to work, as the 95 gets punted and hangs onto it, heading on to 3. My word, he went for a ride there and hung onto it and head off into turn 3.
I don't think these guys really care how much he gets back on work, because he has saved it every single time. Now, I might have been ridiculous, but he's been doing an incredible job, pulling some crazy blocks. And I don't know if Benjamin White and Parker White really... The way they're racing doesn't seem like they have any love for each other. One of them wants to lead towards the other, and they're really trying hard to outduel each other. And it's been pretty crazy and wild to watch.
Yeah, it's been crazy seeing these guys really put on a great show here, and leading this race right now is the 95 Parker White. After what a great heads-up move, they're hanging onto that car, but he's still got some work to do. Benjamin White looking on the outside, surging ahead very momentarily to lead that lap, and now he will lead it on a nice margin thanks to the push from the 25 as they head off into turn number 3, side by side. They continue to race through 3 and 4.
Impressive battles, and all these guys are racing hard. We still look back a little bit to see who's just kind of lurking and who's not really pushing yet. Cody Gardner, Sartaj Man, Malachi Drake, guys still on the lead lap, no damage that looks like to their cars, and they're just riding. But one guy we actually knows has speed and came to join this league later on in the season, but he had no stranger to our league, Eric Peters. He's been in this race all race, and I don't even think we mentioned him once, and he's riding back there quietly in the 13th spot.
He's back there in the thick of that traffic jam, working down the backstretch here in those AlphaTauri colors. It's become a signature here in the series. One of the outside line there behind Jordan Coons, and with Malachi Drake behind him. And you know, he has been a regular visitor here, not really running for the points picture, just coming out trying to string some good runs together, have a couple of good runs, and also been, as I don't like to keep saying, wrong place, wrong time, caught up in some crashes there, and now hanging on to things as we approach and now look to surpass halfway in the race, coming across the line. He's sitting back there just outside the top 10 in the 11th position.
Parker White has almost destroyed the side of Benjamin White's car coming to the start-finish line, but did not. They're 4 wide again. 4 wide did not work last time. Now they're 2 wide. Okay, we're calming down. And Benjamin White back to the lead.
We learn by repetition, and that's what we're seeing here. They didn't quite get the 4 wide right last time, but they got it right this time. Down as they race into turns number 3 and 4 yet again, 2 by 2, but out front, these races, Benjamin White getting back to the point here with Parker White looking to find a line there. Look, he's just trying to find an opportunity to get around and get that momentum he needs all 4. He'll get side by side with them there. You see Corey Blevins, Casey Drake approaching the picture as the pack looks to pass them before they even get to turn number 1.
The amount of side drafting they're trying to use, because these cars don't have a lot of it. I know I mentioned with the side forks the wall, but as far as side drafts on cars, they have the least amount out of all the series bodies, like the NASCAR series on iRacing. They have the least amount, so it's a lot more challenging to get that side draft to work. But Parker White has been using it to his advantage when he gets a chance.
Absolutely, and I'll let you lead the commentary for like a lap or two as we take a quick thing. But you see Parker White dropping back down, getting out front of the other White out front right now, Benjamin White, and Corey Hart's looking to try and work the outside line, bringing a couple of drivers with him. Storm Patterson in the thick of that group as well. Got Tom Papalaro flirting with the yellow line. He will get back above the track as drivers move around, and I'll let you take from here for a couple laps.
Corey Hart tried to come to the outside of Parker White. Parker White's been going crazy block, and just once again screwed up Benjamin White and dropped him all the way to, not to the back, but definitely dropped him to further back, as you see a retirement out of Casey Drake. That is one of the guys that was coming around trying to just get laps. That's actually going to help some guys behind him, like Ryan Kendrick, gain some points as they go 3 wide for the lead. Looks like Storm Patterson is like 3 wide for Corey Hart and Parker White, with the help of Joseph Madigan, and then leave Joseph Madigan out there. So definitely been a wild past 20 laps or so, and probably going to get only crazier. I mean, these guys still knowing they still have to pit. They're coming from 40 to go. I don't think they're in their window. I know a lot of guys topped off, but it's going to be interesting to see who can make it the furthest and be able to stretch the fuel. They come up on Bridger Olsen, who's going to be the 16th guy to go a lap down in this race. So Bridger gets out of the way. Nice courteous move, and here comes Corey Hart to the outside of lap car of William Schmidt, and he's actually going to go to the outside of Parker White. He touches Parker. What a wow! Wow! What a save by Parker White. That was net code. That was bad net code.
Yeah, and we saw the field just scatter, trying to avoid any possible collision there, and they hung on to it. And now they race back off of turn number 4. Blaze Brinkley out front right now. Parker White second. Corey Hart's, Benjamin White, Storm Patterson top 5. Very fluid top 5 right now. He keeps just shifting around. But man, driving the wheel of that car right now is 29 of Parker White sitting second. Trying, I don't even know what he's doing out there, but he is just a wheelman right now behind that 95 Ford.
I'm going to tell you one thing, he's making no friends out there, but he put it on as well as he goes, so I really don't think I'm complaining. I mean, maybe these drivers are complaining, but I'm not.
Is this what it's like to race against me? Because I feel
you
like
you don't make it that hard.
Okay. But he is giving us a great show here, looking to the inside. That is Will Smith. He's 1 lap down here. This could benefit him if there were to be some form of a yellow. He would now not have to worry about taking the wave around. He would be able just to cycle around and rejoin the field on the lead lap. But he's just trying to hang up there with this group. And as you mentioned, 10 or so laps ago, maybe even longer, watching him, he's still very fast in that car despite being involved in that lap 22 crash.
Yeah, I think some of these guys are going to take notice on that they can't work with him. But he's actually in a battle alone in this race with Joseph Madigan. They're both a lap down, and they're both within 2 cars of each other. So they're racing for that lucky dog spot if a caution does fly. Now, granted, iRacing thing is if you get caught up in a wreck or any little incident contact, even if it's 0x, it doesn't affect the lucky dog or wave around or whatever the case may be. So they also got to be careful too. So they're racing really hard and aggressive up front. But they could very well lose their lucky dog credibility if they get caught up in a wreck.
Yeah, something I'm certain they're thinking about here as well, just being smart about what they try and do here, hoping and praying that if something happens, they're able to get away from it, kind of have like an escape plan if something were to break out here. But so far, so good. We've been clean and green. It's about lap number roughly 26 or so. We got back underway here at Talladega. And now these guys are putting another good show here. 4 rows of 2x2 racing, exiting turn number 2.
So now they've ran more laps than they did the first run, which was 21. So now they're up to like roughly probably 26 laps they ran on fuel and tires. So now it's going to be interesting to see how much longer they can go. I want to say they can probably go 36. I don't know. I mean, 85, something like that. I think they can go normally like 39 laps on fuel in these cars, maybe less. So I gotta think they're coming close. And they have to pit soon, within a few laps. They can't make it on fuel.
you know just as much as I do. They are sitting here crunching those numbers just like we're trying to do up here. We're at the rental style, trying to do the math of what our window is. And as these laps dwindle down, especially under green, you know, that clock is ticking. And when do we make the move? When do we decide to go and commit to coming to pit road? Because that is a big commitment to go ahead and leave the pack, drop yourself down from being a part of the lead group to maybe only having 3 or 4 cars with you if you've got a group coming with you. There's a lot of things to think about here. Think back to our days of doing the official lobbies here on iRacing when you're trying to wheel and deal with just complete strangers in your race of being like, hey, yo, when are you going to go down on the old pit road? And you're trying to find friends to go on pit road with, and that's why I alluded to earlier, you know, you're going to make friends with people who you weren't maybe friends with before. So maybe you see a driver who has the same front nose as your emblem on their car, or they're a affiliate of your esports organization, your race team. There's gonna be a lot of things these drivers are thinking about, trying to make partners as they head to pit road here, maybe in the next few moments.
They need to go 32 laps on two runs. In order for that to be possible, they have to make it to lap 58, end of 58. I think guys are getting single file right now.
Yeah, we see William Smith on the apron there I don't know if he's having an issue, but he'll drop back in this group here as the 91 to 28 heads on the pit road and just gets in there a little too hot. But we'll see if that should cause him any issues there. But tries to get on pit road there. Of course, everything's a learning experience, especially at Talladega, learning how to load that car down from that 180 miles an hour off the corner down to about 55. Here, this track is now they're racing side by side here again. I'm getting single file from about pit road entrance on through to trial.
Well, we know right now, 91 can't make it. You got to get in your window, and that's not in your window. You're looking like 2 laps short. You got to take same fuel around here. If you're the only one doing it, good luck. I mean, you can do it, but if everybody's pushing really hard, not having the same fuel, then that's an issue. Here comes Gaetano. He's, wow, lone wolf coming down.
That's going to be really risky here, coming down by yourself with not much help here as you look to try and get back with the group here. So we'll see what the strategy looks like for him as he makes his way to his stall, and the rest of the field stay down on the track there to 95, right behind 57, the Corey Harcher pole sitter, Benjamin White, Landon Mills, Blaze Brinkley, top 5.
Yeah, they're doing a phenomenal job keeping it clean now up front after the wildness we had for quite a bit. Now they calm it down. Now they got a pit. So I want to say some guys, I think I'm hearing my pit this time. I'm not sure if they can make it. Like I said, they're cutting it close. Joseph Madigan's actually on the apron. He's getting back up on the track. That was great. Second.
So no action on most of these drivers here in this group. No one comes down the pit road. We come to lap number 58. So we continue to click time off the clock. They're trying to get closer to their window, and that's what I think is playing out here right now as we look at this field right now. The Brody Gardner machine surging on the outside. That Chevrolet powered from behind by the 89 of Mitch Hobbs now looking to grab the lead. The 95 will float up there with them now, making it 3 cars that group soon before. Now back down to 3 because I guess they heard me bring it up. So now 3 cars on the outside, and maybe 4 and maybe more as they race down the backstretch here. Really, again, people just trading places here like it's nothing as we get deeper into this race, and now dropping down, Nebula consumes the first 3 spots.
So that looks like, I think some guys can now start pitting now. If you can get in now, I think, and make it, I would do it. And here comes Corey Hart. He's coming down with Benjamin White. It looks like with William Schmidt, who's a lap down, but that'll be good to have another car in there.
Hey, lap down, as long as you have a car that can run with our group, we don't care who you are. Join the club as we watch these 3 cars all head down to the pits here at Talladega Superspeedway. Pit stops underway for a little bit here, as now we get our eyes back on leader Mitch Hobbs working off turn number 2, single file throughout this group. There's one lone car there on the outside. He'll get back in line behind them. So seeing things begin to calm down as we get toward these pivotal pit stops.
If everybody decides to pit this time, it's going to be crazy hectic, and hopefully everybody gets on the pit road good and clean, because that's not the case. If we have an issue, that 1, either a caution comes out, and 2, it just screws, if no caution comes out, it just screws up everybody.
So it's going to be wild there. You see 95 veering off on a pit road, and yeah, that's going to be hot coming in, and that's going to go ahead and not be good for him.
Overshot his pitch. Yeah, either he had an issue, which could be because we never really seen issues out of him ever, or he really overshot and he knew that he was going to have a penalty and then penalty and he had more issues. So
yeah, absolutely.
He just got to get out of there right away. He's not here for points, so you just here for fun. We've always hear him say in this series he's just here for fun. But he did put on a heck of a show.
That he did.
Oh, is he?
That he did, absolutely did. And, you know, unfortunately, it's a flashback to what we saw happen back at Auto Club Speedway, where he was right there putting on a great show in Fontana, and the pit road issue will affect him as now everyone starts veering off one of the pits here. This is a critical pit stop for these drivers. You need to hit your marks and be at the speed limit here. And we're seeing drivers get in the grass there as well, trying to get, I saw some drivers drop down to as low as 45 miles an hour, trying to get their cars slowed down here, as these are massively important pit stops for these drivers. We got championship contenders in a mix here as well.
Did everybody get down?
Landon Mills almost missed his box there. Looks like 98 did miss his box. Had to back up to catch up to the group, so that's going to cost him some time there as well. So things very fluid here as we look toward the drivers who have already completed their pit service here back on lap 58, Corey Hart and Benjamin White.
The brakes were not calibrated for Mitch Hobbs. That looks like a speeding penalty possibly for him.
Oh boy, so penalties getting handed out here potentially as we now complete green flag pit stop here at Talladega. Lap 61, here is the two-car tango of the 57 Corey Hart and the 50 of Benjamin White. Benjamin White, your stage winner, your pole sitter, the 57.
So they have all of Nebula sped the 55, the 49, and the 89. Well, I knew they weren't going to make it down. They all coming out of pit road right now. Look at all the time they lost.
There they are right there, passing by our camera right at start finish line. Mitch Hobbs, Sartaj Mann, and Brody Gardner. Of those drivers, two of them playoff contenders. You got the 49 and the 55.
Wow. So now everything's separated. So now we got to talk in different ways. We got packed all over the place. In the front four, Storm Patterson, Michael Rosero, Eric Heater, and Jordan Cruz. None have won this season, and of those, we're looking for two guys to get their first career series win. That'll be Eric Heater and Storm Patterson, and here comes Corey Hart, who's looking for his first career one. Also, first career, I think, anything in Red Line, and same with Benjamin White, who's behind him. So, and here comes Malachi Drake, Landon Mills, and then the two lappers. They stayed in this thing, so they're still duking it out for who's going to get the lucky dog if it ever happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Watch them start off turn number 4, and now they're 2 by 2 forming up here after being pretty separated throughout that green flag pit stop cycle here. The field beginning to contract a bit. And when I look at the score and you see there on the side of your screen, well behind this group is Mitch Hobbs, Sartaj Mann, Brody Gardner. They are 36 seconds behind this group here.
What a change of event. One issue. And you know, it's one thing to be fast and to keep yourself out of trouble and to do everything right as far as just having a car again in a race. But the other thing you gotta remember is you're on full throttle for however long. You gotta think that was like 35 minutes, 40 minutes, full throttle on, no lifting or no brake, and then you go to use your brakes and either one they're not calibrated or you forgot how hard you can drive in. Issues, man, and mistakes cannot happen in this race because now with everything so separated, mind we still have a pack, it'll be a lot harder for a caution to come out. And then you have playoff drivers. That's two playoff drivers that had issues. And now you have playoff drivers up front and you're behind. So granted Brody has a cushion coming in, but Sartaj doesn't. So that's the thing. You got Storm Patterson up there, Corey Hart, Michael Rosero, Jordan Cruz, Malachi Drake, all up there. And those are guys that can surpass Sartaj.
Absolutely. You see the points there coming into tonight's race. As Cody mentioned, Brody Gardner had a 35-point bonus point cushion coming into tonight's race. So hopefully points there to enter a race like this, a wild card night. and that may be very helpful for him. But the same race, really, even though they are well back of this group, they are 36 seconds back, but they're only in 11th, 12th, and 13th respectively there. So it's not the end of the world. They're not very in the standings, say, outside the top 20. So it's not the worst case scenario, but certainly it is a bit of a behind the eight ball moment for them, and about trying to figure out how they're going to overcome this hurdle. And you know, it makes me flash back to last season when we saw Brinkley Hefner Racing turn out in droves, fielding a number of vehicles, and a big crash wiped out a number of their contingency to try and support their efforts, eventually Ryan Kendrick winning that race. Here, different situation, maybe not a crash necessarily knocking out some drivers, but a pit road issue knocking out and affecting the strategy here that could transform the complexion of this race as things get more racy here at the front with 25 to go at Talladega.
It was like a little stack up right there, but I was mentioning who needs some wins. I shouldn't even say need wins. Wants their first career win. Just last week, just last race that Brody won. He actually took over the most career win in a Redline Premier Series overall season through all the season. Dylan held the throne with Brody at 13, and Brody now officially has 14. So there's one note that I wanted to put out there. Brody has the most career Redline Premier Series wins thus far with 14. As we look for other guys to put their name on a list, I have the list in the Discord. It's a wonderful list to look at. The notables on there: Brody Gardner with 14, Dylan Alt, been phenomenal, 13, Derek Smith 10, Nick Miller 8, and Blaze Brinkley 6. So those are the top 5 in the career wins. So it's a pretty incredible list of names up there, and Brody's the top of them. So obviously these other guys want to add their name to the list or add another win into that list.
You know, drivers like you mentioned who are looking to try and get that first victory of the season, one of them being right there in that 23. The low side of the track here as they dwindle down in terms of number of laps left in this event. It's Michael Rizzero, and he's finally begun to find his stride here. Even though he made the playoffs pretty comfortably there, he locked himself in fairly early. It just seemed like he wasn't able to find the consistency he needed in the early going of the season, but he has begun to turn it around here, and in the last few races, 3 top 5s in the last 5 races, including a best in that streak, second at Fontana. So your series runner-up back last season, finishing second to Cole Williams, now beginning to turn it on here and find that speed he needs. It's still 23 laps to go, but I feel like, what are your thoughts on Michael Rizzero? Do you think he's finding his stride here, and people should kind of start looking at him as we look toward this playoff picture going forward?
Yes and no. I feel like, yeah, he is, making strides and making his name known, and he is known for being very aggressive and consistent at the same time. But at the same time, Brody Gardner's still out there winning. He's doing stuff that everybody else needs to be doing. So if you can't dethrone what Brody's doing, then it's going to be hard, even if you're finishing second or third, to beat him. Granted, I'm talking about that right now, and Brody Gardner did get a penalty and put himself in a hole. But if this is Richmond, Texas, or whatever, Brody would be up there really showing and being hard to beat. But obviously, if Michael Rizzero can come out of here with still a top 5, you can obviously throw his name in the hat as a threat, but if he comes out of here with a win, I feel a lot more better for him, just for the simple fact that he was able to get a win while Brody had issues, and Brody can be beat. But with how incredible Brody has been, you need to win rather than top 5, and that's crazy to say, but we've seen it each season with the Premier Series, even the Truck Series. The guys that start taking off and winning, you need to replicate that. And if you can't do that, you're already behind. So, I would like to see wins out of him.
Well, he still has some time to try and get that done. We know he was very strong in the final round, finishing in second position behind the Cole Williams machine for, I want to say he was running for Eel Media Racing at that point, something to that effect that season, and now is part of Nebula Esports here. So let's see what he's able to do here as we continue to watch Michael Rossero and company at the front. Storm Patterson out front here leading this group as we get into this series here and this playoff round. Behind the 8 ball as well, no bonus points to his credit, trying to find an opportunity to stamp his name and be part of this picture here, down in 13th place in the standings there, tied with drivers like Corey Blevins, Casey Drake, Malachi Drake, Brian Kendrick, and Derek Smith. So a night like tonight, if he can complete this finish and survive his final 20, soon to be 19 laps, it could be very important for him, especially as other drivers face challenges.
See another guy go a lap down. That low pit stop for Gaetano Pappalardo obviously didn't pay off one lap down. So now he's the third guy racing for this lucky dog spot in this pack. And, 4 guys are 1 lap down. The 91 is further back, but you got 3 guys a lap down in this pack with the 8 lead lap guy, 8 lead lap guys in this pack. So 11 guys total, but 3 are a lap down, and the other 4 that are on the lead lap are 30 plus seconds behind.
Absolutely. So when we look at this field right now, one of the things that jumps out to me is the fact that, well, one, it's been cut down considerably from what we saw back around the first 10 to 15 laps of lap number 22. But the other thing is just how calm it's been now the last couple of laps. Things have really calmed down a little bit out here, and maybe they're beginning to say, look, we're in this group, and one of us can win this race. It's about surviving to get there first. How long do you think this truce will last out here at Talladega?
You know, I don't know, because we haven't seen push it. We haven't seen Malachi Drake push it, and we haven't seen Eric Peter push it. They just, whatever pack they were in, they've been doing what they're doing right now. They're the road. So how hard do they push it? And now just amp up obviously the front. You know, we already seen Benjamin White do throw some blocks and have a crazy battle with Parker White. We've seen, you know, we've pretty much seen Landon Mills up there all race. And Storm Patterson's been like in the middle of the pack, but hasn't really dropped to the back. Same with Michael Rossero and Corey Hart. So all of them, and even, you can even throw in Joseph Madigan and Jordan, even though they've been a lap down for, more than half this race now, they've been up there. So we've seen what these pretty much 7 guys have been doing. We just don't know what the 3 lurking are going to do. So, yeah, it'll probably ramp up. And something crazy will happen. Will we get another caution before the white flag? I don't know. They seem very tame right now. I don't know.
Riding along with Jordan Coons coming off of turn number 2. Right behind the 79 down the backstretch here. You're watching these cars move around that low line that you saw, I think, briefly Michael Rossero peek out to the right of 79 there. And also got, I think, the 76 with Joseph Madigan also in the thick of that group as well. So we talk about a battle for that key position in the race, that lap down position. There it is right in front of you. And I think all 3 of those cars surrounding that group in front of Jordan Coons are all vying for that lucky dog position.
All vying for the lucky dog position, and they don't want to run off and give way. I mean, obviously, if a caution comes down, they stay clear of it. Maybe they all just take the way around if everybody pits. I mean, they would need the guys in front of them pit, but I don't know. I mean, they're here to race, so I mean, I don't blame them for letting off. But you know, honestly, if I'm like the top 3, I'm kind of liking them there because they're putting a buffer between the front 3 and the rest of the field that are on the lead lap. So I wouldn't mind having them behind me. Obviously, guys that are behind the lap cars maybe aren't feeling so kindly of that.
Landon Mills back up front here trying to fight off Storm Patterson on the low side. They're door to door working through turns 3 and 4. Storm Patterson is one of those drivers who's been a star for Nebula Esports so far this season. Now looking to lead the group through the trial. We got one win this season back at Michigan International back on October 7th. So he's been very strong here in the series. And, you know, while he's been strong, he has finished outside the top 10 in the last 2 races. So a bit of a slip here, but maybe trying to turn it around. Talk about Landon Mills and, you know, what we saw this season, because we knew he was strong. I think we saw flashes of that back before being involved in a late race crash in a battle with Jordan Kuntz. But we saw that speed really begin to come on board right around the mid part of the season, and now helping him get into the playoffs. What have you thought about Landon Mills' performance this season?
Right, so we spoke about Michael Rossero and saying him coming line, but he's been up there in the points, you know, pretty much all season, but really hasn't shown anything, really hasn't given us anything. Landon Mills missed, I think, 2 or 3 races in the beginning of the season. Put himself in the hole and had to climb from really far back in the finish all the way up to get himself into playoff contention, then to get himself into the playoff, and then solidify himself as a front runner. I said several times, I think, in broadcast, if this guy gets into the playoff, it was first an if, and then I was like, okay, when the playoffs start, he's going to be a threat. Now we're in playoff, and he's up there, and he's shown that he's here for top 5, top 3s, and wins, and he has proven it week in and week out. He's been a top 3 runner, not a top 5 runner. You need to be a top 3 runner, and I feel like if anybody can beat the road, Brody Gardner, it would be Landon Mills.
Absolutely. So he is one of your playoff drivers here. Win this season in Michigan. Can he make it 2 here at Talladega? He's still got 14 laps, soon to be 13 to figure it out. And he's got a lot of hungry drivers around who are also looking to try and get a victory here in this big 2.66 mile super speedway.
It's been clean and green since we went back to green, and this race has really clicked off pretty quickly. Only an hour and 15 minutes, and that's rather quick for 78 laps around Talladega. Big track around here, and let's see if they can keep it clean, you know, anything possible. That pack, that 4-car pack that's behind, they've actually been gaining on the leaders a little bit each lap, but obviously they're way too far back, 36 seconds back, but they're not going to put themselves in jeopardy of going a lap down. Obviously they just need a caution.
Yeah, absolutely. They're looking for that yellow flag, and I'm going to go ahead and ask a question here. So when we were looking at this race overall, we had the one-minute crash in lap number 22. What was very interesting about that green flag pit stop that we saw, tie this all together, we saw the issues out of Nebula, having that issue getting on the pit road and getting speed advantages. When you come into these races, you often see drivers, and you see contact there as they're trying to move past a lap car contact. Car's going for a ride there on the inside. And still spinning. You see Rosero involved, the 99 involved. We're still green here, no yellow flag. Still green on the track after we saw drivers trying to navigate past a lap car, and it resulted in collisions here in the field, now even more spread out. 12 laps to go, no yellow flag, we're still green here.
Wow, that's crazy. iRacing cautions only thrown, and really only 1 car won, and it was added racing groove.
We'll go and get a look at that. You see them approaching the car there, and we'll go and get a bird's eye view. It looks like maybe some net code there contributing to that incident. William Schmidt involved, both the 99 and the 23 involved in that. And it's all touching off each other. Rosero getting the worst end of that deal, punted into the grass. No real damage, but he will be well behind the group here.
Well behind the group, and Rosero got the worst end, like you said, but it just looked like they're trying to navigate the 0 of Ryan Kendrick and just really ran out of room, and now the pack is shrunk down to looks like 6 guys battling for this spot.
Which, you know, is interesting because when you look at how this race has gone, since I was mentioning before, lap 22, we had the big crash right before the end of the stage. They've been passing these lap cars all night. Basically, in my opinion, you should kind of be used to knowing how to approach these cars and get around them. Obviously, Lotus is also on the lap car trying to get out of the way, but we saw the 0 kind of already next to the wall there, and then the things touching off from there. So maybe as this race was continuing to ramp up, just those little mistakes, was trying to really find the razor's edge through the field here, contributing to another incident. But we stay green here, and the number of cars that are part of this group dwindle down to basically like 6 cars. Yeah, 6 cars in this group now. And going back to Jordan Kuntz, 10 seconds behind number 0, 29 back.
Zero definitely, like you said, got the worst of it. We got 7 cars in that draft, 6 on the lead lap. Madigan is now the lucky dog spot. Really quick got screwed out of that. So we got 3 and 3. I'd say 3 and 3. 3 guys that have won a race. Actually, let me retract that statement real quick. We got 2 and 4. Let me make sure I'm right. 2 and 4. Wait. Yeah, 2 and 4. 2 guys that won a Redline Racing. Sorry, it took a second. Redline Racing Premier Series race in their career, and 4 that have not. 2 are Landon Mills and Malachi Drake. The other 4, Corey Hart, Eric Spears, Benjamin White, and Storm Patterson are looking for their first career Redline Premier Series win. And I'm thinking it's going to be one of them because the two that have won so far, well, I shouldn't even say that. Landon Mills is really trying hard, so maybe, I don't know. I don't know.
Look how
I'm hoping it's the new winner, but
I'm sure we all are hoping for the same thing as well. And, you know, we looked at that aerial shot. We were watching them work toward turns 3 and 4. Just think back to an hour or so ago, we had 25 plus cars racing off from that corner. Now it's somehow dwindled all the way down to 6. And not because they aren't running on the track right now. A number of the cars are still running here. At least about 20, if I'm not mistaken, Cody, from data and the telemetry right now. But it's just a fact that we've seen this field really spread out, one because of pit road and the issues we saw with Nebula having problems getting down to speed down pit road here at Talladega. And then the other thing is seeing that incident there break out with NASCAR and their officiating body likely would have thrown the yellow flag, a few more yellow flags, a few more onto the actual track itself to ensure that its race was slowed down. But iRacing not seeing really any trouble that can impact the race. We stayed green here, and it's spread this field out even more, and now we only have 6 drivers in this train, all within 0.7 of a second, coming back to the start-finish line for 7 laps to go.
yeah, you know, it really has transpired into what it is right now. You know, I think the big turning point, obviously the wreck, we see what happened. It slowed a lot of guys down. Oh, a little netcode, what a save! Wow! They're trying to talk and they're trying to put on a show, huh? That was an incredible save by Landon Mills. Looked like netcode between the 57 and the 25. That was wild. You know, we saw the wreck. I don't really think that was separated a lot. I feel like you said, pit road. Just no one had the same strategy on pit road. So a lot of guys pit without, you know, someone, and then we saw, you know, it issued with Nebula. So it just a lot transpired and got to this point, and you know, it's been a crazy race, but it's been a very entertaining one.
Absolutely. Now 6 laps to go here at Talladega. A small field looks to try and decide amongst itself who's going to go to victory lane. And, you know, anything can still happen here. Anything can happen. It's still up in the air who could win this race here. So many different storylines to play out. The big one here being the fact that you've seen so many playoff drivers come into tonight's race in really good position and face adversity, and that's just the nature of these playoffs. Having to face this adversity and these challenges and figure out ways to overcome. For example, let's talk about Billy Dark. He comes in as your regular season champion, had that issue with pit road, but somehow still able to survive here and maintaining pace with his pit road. He's now got him back up to the 8th position, hanging with Sartaj Man and Blaze Brinkley. These 3 drivers here, all part of the playoffs, they have formed up and are now trying to just solidify their race and have a good finish here. Sartaj Man also caught up in that. He is now sitting in 9th, Blaze Brinkley 10th. So it's about trying to overcome this adversity, and now you're seeing these other two face these challenges late in this race, really try and get the race finish they need to keep their playoff hopes alive. And this is how you determine a champion, who can tighten their belts and really put their head to the grindstone. Just get to work. That's really what it's about. Getting to work when you face a challenge, not just throwing in the towel. And that's what these drivers who are in the playoffs, nothing new for them. They know how to overcome adversity.
What they can, like you said, trying to just, you know, get as most as they can, and they did exactly that. If their caution didn't come out, I feel like they made the most of what they were dealt with the mistakes they made. So I feel like it's good for them. And as we look back up front, now they're getting raced here. Malachi Drake and Eric Heater are like, all right, time to push. So now we got 2 lines pushing. And you got guys looking for their first career win. And with that being said, how hard will these guys race for their first career win?
It's going to get racy up here. I think that's just really just the storyline. It's going to get racy. I mean, I don't want to be the one to say it. I guess I'll go be the one to say it. I wouldn't be surprised if you said yellow flag fly. If someone just makes that move. But I think it's all going to depend on when that move comes. If it comes after the white flag, then it is what it is. But if it comes before 2 to go, that's when you might see that yellow flag fly here at Talladega, which will only be for the 2nd time this evening. We saw the first incident on lap 22, a lap before the stage ended, and then it's been green ever since. And the clock is ticking here. The laps are dwindling away. They're coming to 3 to go here as they now work past the lap car of Michael Rosero. Remember, he was caught up in that incident a few laps ago where they all fall around and you see a wiggle there out of the 50, hangs onto it as they all race off toward turn 1. Looking at this group, a lot of Supras in this group. Looks like a lone Ford there by the 29 of Eric Heater, and then a bunch of Toyotas in this pack.
Chevy in there too, I think, 1 or 2. So, then yeah, we got two Chevy. Wait, I don't know. Is the 50 a Chevy?
Yeah. The 50 is a Toyota. We got 3 Toyotas, 2 Chevrolets, and a Ford in that pack, piloted by Eric Heater. So we call it parity. Everyone's represented here as the 76 drops down out of that group, coming to 2 to go off the trial wheel.
Yeah, the lap car, he said, I think a courteous move, letting them race it out, which I feel like is very fair. Obviously, if caution comes out, he'll be a lucky dog, but 2 to go. This time by, what will happen? Will we get a caution before the white flag?
I don't know. It's going to get racy out here now on the outside line. Joining the 29 of Eric Heater is the 90 of Malachi Drake, another driver who has been part of the picture when we talk about the playoffs here and just needing a good run. No bonus points to his credit. Now trying to get up there to get a solid finish in this race as Eric Heater surges out front here. They race toward turn 3. Corey Blevins, another one of our playoff drivers, slow on the apron as they work through turns 3 and 4. Next time by, white flag. Eric Heater out front leading this race off turn number 4, coming to 1 to go. Will they receive the white flag here at Talladega? Through the truck. It's getting racy. It's going to be a fun one here. Coming to the white flag. They will receive it. Waving. There it is. Out front, Eric Heater leading this race. On the outside now, Storm Patterson making a move. Eric Heater gets left out in the dust. He'll go for a spin. Now he's out of contention. 5 cars left in this battle off turn 2. Storm Patterson leading with Benjamin White, Malachi Drake in this group. Who's going to make the moves?
Malachi Drake had no help on the outside.
No help, time running out here. No one serving to challenge the 6 right now as they work into turn 3 one last time. Single file now as they drop down and passing by the General Tire. Sign off turn 4 one last time to 6, leading this group down toward the exit of the corner. He'll get loose, they'll crash, colliding, still wrecking here, still hanging on to it somehow. Coming to the line, Benjamin White wins the stage, and he'll win the damn race to victory lane goes Benjamin White. Storm Patterson will finish in 2nd position.
Wow. That was, we got a new winner, so I got my wish. That was
great
crazy.
Finish there with Benjamin White going to victory lane. You know, I was thinking about Benjamin when I was seeing him run up there at the front. But remember that show he put on back at Chicagoland in one of the first races of the season, getting up there and mixing it up for that stage win.
Yeah, he definitely, he's been fast, man. He had potential, and definitely had chances where he could have won. You just hadn't transpired, but he done it today.
Absolutely. What a finish there. Just crazy how these guys put on such a wild show there. And we'll take a look at that finish one last time. We'll look at the last lap again before we begin the interviews here, but we'll let Benjamin White come to our finish line and enjoy what is probably a very sweet first victory for him here at Talladega Superspeedway. And you know, we've seen that 50 car around here very often in the series, and he's been able to have some speed and get up there, get off sequence, get off strategy, and now Nebula will join him here at the front stretch to celebrate a win. Now, mind you, this means a non-playoff driver just got a win here, so there's a point off the table for some of his Nebula teammates, but hey, it's about going out there and getting trophies as well, and Benjamin White got one tonight.
Benjamin White did what he needed to do, and I mean, he stunk up the show in the best way possible, and he did it. He dominated the race because he won the stage. So I mean, I said, nah, no one needs the stage win and get the win also. No one's gonna do that, and well, I was wrong, and so he proved me wrong, and that was impressive.
Taking a look at that lap, and we'll take a quick look at the last lap here again, so we see the contact between it looks like the 29 to 6 made contact initially. The 50, nowhere for him to go, got into the back of the 29, able to drive through that, dropping his field down to a pack of 5. And as you notice there, no one working with Malachi Drake on the outside. That's the 90, that car on the outside of this group there, the 4 cars on the inside line. No one really good with them. That's just real estate being eaten up on the outside with no one going to help you. and then they dive down here into turns 3 and 4. No one challenging here again until he really gets off of turn number 4, now applying pressure to the 6 there. You see him covering, the 6 trying to cover the 90, and it just touches off a crash there, and it all goes off. The 6 nearly hangs on to it as well, but lost all of his momentum and speed and allows the 50 to cross the line with ease. Storm Patterson getting another second place finish. If I'm not mistaken, he finished second back at, I want to say, Kansas earlier this season to Mitch Hobbs, maybe? I might be wrong there, but I thought he got very close to winning a race there, coming down to maybe those two at the end of the event.
Yeah, I believe it was Mitch Hobb that he finished second too. So yeah, this is another good, strong outing, and definitely a great way to start the playoffs. And the right, I know he wanted to win, and he did everything he could, but I feel like if he doesn't throw that block on Malachi, he loses anyway. So he tried what he could, and unfortunately didn't play out the way he wanted it to.
No, not at all. So now we transition over to the fun side of the evening, the post-race coverage, and hopefully hearing from some of these drivers looking to probably talk to Landon Mills. Corey Hart, your pole sitter, finishing in 4th position after a chaotic night back there. Malachi Drake gaining 19 spots on the evening. He'll finish in 3rd, so a great night for him, especially considering he entered tonight with no bonus points really to his name, and other drivers having issues. This could really help his cause moving up in the standings here. Storm Patterson, of course, we profile finishing in 2nd position, and Benjamin White getting the victory this evening. Storm Patterson, not to dismiss anything from him as well. Great run, considering he was also buried in the standings as well, entering tonight. No bonus points to his credit as well. And we'll go ahead and start working on these interviews and hearing from these drivers on what was a crazy finish here at Talladega. And the first driver we'll be talking to is the driver of the 25, Landon Mills. Good season for him so far and survived a crazy race here at Talladega, finishing in 5th. Landon Mills, you got us.
I do, yes.
So talk to us about your night here at Talladega. One caution in the evening. We saw some incidents touch off there, and the field gets strung out. How was your night out here at Talladega?
Well, I think I did pretty good. Um, and I felt like the racing was pretty intense, but one caution, can't blame that. I feel like finished second in the first stage, and you know came home well. I just felt like I definitely gonna shut out the win there. It just didn't pan out at the end. I don't know what happened, but overall, solid effort. I'm really happy for our Nebula 1-2 finish, and really hoping we could have made that a 1-2-3. I felt like if I stayed clean off of 4, I felt like I could have got that, but not gonna complain. It was a great race, solid racing out there.
So we know Talladega is the ultimate wild card. You've got that race out of the way. Now you turn your attention to Richmond as you look to try and keep your playoff hopes going. What are your thoughts on Richmond? Do you think you can keep this pace you've kind of been having this season going when you head to Richmond and the Commonwealth of Virginia?
Well, if I'm not mistaken right now, I believe, not 100% certain, but I think I have the most points so far if I'm calculating the stage and the race. I could be mistaken, but I'm up there. So just just race smart. I don't want to get a DNF. I don't want any of those, to be honest. The biggest worry of the entire playoffs was not getting a good finish here. I knew surviving the wrecks. We only had one, which is surprising, but surviving whatever happened is the most important thing. So I think that's kind of the focus for the playoffs. I think I'll have enough speed when I need it, but I'm not going to try to be extremely aggressive. I'm going to try to play bigger picture and be smart. Just really want to get the chances to win a championship, and I feel like tonight that strategy kind of went our way and it's paying off. So hopefully we can continue that throughout the playoffs. But as far as this race, it went really well.
Awesome. Well, we look over your season overall. You've been very strong. You got that one win back at Michigan. So when we look further into the season, you've got Texas, you've got Atlanta, Dover. When you look at the further down the schedule, do you see any opportunities for you to get that second win this season?
Road courses, I'm usually a top 5 speed in, so anything can happen. It depends if the good old Parker White shows up to the Roval. I think other than that, I can get a good finish there. Dover is my best track on the service. I don't think I've run it in the Xfinity car, but that's another highlight. Um, you know, there's some solid tracks, and I feel like not all of them are my best, there's some weak points, but if you look in each round, there's at least one, maybe two tracks that I can definitely say, hey, I got a good 1, 2, or top three, or even a win chance at, like, genuinely. So it'll be interesting. And I forgot where the championship race is, but that's another solid track for me. So it's not all about winning. I just want the solid finishes and try to get as many points as possible. I think that's my best chance at you know getting that championship, which is the ultimate goal.
That's certainly the mindset of a potential champion, and we'll see what you're able to do as we now move past the wild card and we get to work heading to my home track and the Commonwealth of Virginia here at the Richmond Raceway next week. And congratulations.
Yeah,
Is there anyone you want to shout out or mention before we let you enjoy this top five?
our dog Benjamin White, great win. He's new to the team, so very happy that he could get that with the scheme. And Storm ran a great race there, especially at the end. He played it smart, kind of like me. Got third or got second. So of course, everyone over there, but Nebula, Lanimals, Paints. Um, the playoffs are gonna be electric. So everyone at Redline is putting the show on, and this is a little good boost in the right direction for our team. And not just me, but everybody for the most part, especially in the championship chase. So shout out to everyone who makes this happen on your end, on our team's end, and hopefully we can keep it up throughout the rest of the season. And like I said, go for that championship.
Awesome. Well, we'll keep our eye on you and see what you're able to do out there. But congratulations on finishing fifth here at Talladega.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
All right, that's Landon Mills, driver that 25, and we'll continue to work through our interviews here this evening. Next driver we'll bring in is a driver who was very fast out there from beginning to end. The driver of the 57, Corey Hartz, started on the pole, finished fourth, survived a lot of the chaos out there, and was found himself in the middle of things toward the end to get himself another top five and keep what's been a good season going in the right direction. Corey Hartz, presenting sponsor of the series. Do you got us?
Yeah.
So talk to us about your night out there. I mean, we shouldn't be surprised you were extremely fast at Daytona at the start of the season, and you come to Talladega to kick off the playoffs and show them a thing or two how to run here. I know you probably don't want to divulge your secrets, but man, you were blistering and qualifying out there. How did you get so much speed around this place?
Yeah, I mean, on it, mate, because I used to be like very good at plate track qualifying. Like I could go into an A fix, B fix, C fix, qualify on pole at Talladega, no matter what. Like, I used to be very good at it, and then I fell off for a while. And I don't know, not a lot of people qualified, but still, I feel like that was a really good lap. And just hooked it up. And I mean, the number one car is, I think some people will try to hold the car down on the yellow line. You can't do that. You gotta work with the car. You gotta, if the car wants to come up off the yellow line a little bit, you gotta let it do that, and that'll help you preserve your speed. You're not scrubbing the tires as much, not scrubbing that speed off. So that's the number one thing there.
So we get into the race here, and you were pretty much toward the front most of the evening. What was your mindset in terms of approaching this race? We know you're one of the playoff drivers. You have a fair amount of points to work with as well. How did you approach this race? Did you want to stay toward the front? Did you want to float toward the back? How did everything work in your favor to be able to get to this place now where you're now sitting in fourth and able to get some points after some other drivers had issues?
Yeah. My approach was send it.
I like that
And
approach.
that's usually not my approach on the plate tracks. Usually I'm like the methodical guy that's like calm and working their way through usually I'm the methodical guy. I didn't do that this race. I'm just like, you know what, any opportunity I find, I'm gonna take it, and I did that. Um, and I was very aggressive, especially pinching people down, trying to get the side draft. I've probably had 4 or 5 people tell me like, yeah, you were pinching people like crazy, and I'm like, you know what? I take pride in that. That's a good thing. That means I am driving with precision. If I am able to hold you down to the yellow line, but not turn you, but just keep you down there, that means I'm doing something right.
Yeah, you were looking good out there and able to get on pit road with your teammates. Talk about for those who maybe don't run here in oval side of things on iRacing or don't understand the complexities of how to do it. Talk about getting on the pit road under green while kind of doing this synchronized dance with your teammates to get down to speed and get in and get out together.
Yeah. Well, my teammates were mostly wrecked out by that point. So the only one that I really ended up working with was Benjamin. And he did a great job of, pushing me after we got out pit road. But as for getting into pit road, what you do is you brake too late and then you proceed to lock up the left front tire and hope that you make it down to pit road speed. That's pretty much how you do it. You do that and you'll do pretty well.
So now we look toward Richmond Raceway, my hometown, and what are your thoughts on Richmond? Do you think you'll be able to bring some of that speed we saw out of you back at Myrtle Beach, even some of the other smaller tracks there? Do you think this will be a track that's in your wheelhouse?
Richmond used to be a good track for me. I don't really know if it's much of a good track for me anymore, but it used to be a really good track, and I was just able to. Richmond is a track where you have to be very patient with the car. I feel like, so I feel like I used to be good at that. I don't know if I'm as good as that now, as good with that now, but we'll certainly give it a try.
Well, we look forward to seeing what you do there when we head to the Commonwealth of Virginia and Richmond Raceway next week. But before we let you go, is there anyone you want to shout out or mention as you enjoy a fourth place finish here at Talladega?
Yes, I do. And you know what? I'm gonna try to do this without pulling up the sponsor page in the
Oh
Discord.
man, okay.
Okay, so we have Trey Shuttlesworth Photography, we have Rexford Engineering, we have All Serve Door and Openers, Graham Cracker. I'll shout out Cody's company, One Call Concepts, um, and then Precision Race Sets. Anyone else? I will kind of I'm actually gonna give a shout out to Nebula Esports because they were actually pretty nice during this race. And one of their drivers, pit with me, and me and him were able to work out well. But then we're also running we're partnering together to jointly run several Daytona 24-hour entries. So that's gonna be cool to see two rival teams in Redline. We're gonna be working together for the
You had
24 hours of Daytona.
you had to just bring up Daytona.
Yep.
I'm itching to get back in the seat for some endurance racing, and
Oh yeah, I love
it's that
Daytona, and
it's that
honestly,
time.
the like testing before it is honestly, I might would say that's the best part, just the build up to the whole event, both in
Mhm.
real life and on iRacing, just the build up, the testing, and preparing for the grueling 24-hour race, getting all the logistics of your teammates together, getting all that together, and getting that organized is fun to me. I really enjoy that.
Well, we look forward to seeing what you do there. We'll keep us updated on how that goes, and hopefully we will have a good show there. Hopefully I'll be able to get out there with the team as well and have some fun, get back behind the wheel instead of being behind the mic for the rest of my life. I miss being out there on the track with you guys. So let's look forward to that. And, congratulations on the fourth place run. You've been one of the standout drivers this season from beginning to end, and you're starting the playoffs in a strong way. And look forward to seeing what you do when we head to Richmond Raceway next week.
Yep. Thank you.
All right. Keep working through our interviews here. That was Corey Hartz, finished in fourth position. Now we bring in another playoff driver who finished inside the top five, and very good for him because he had some work to do to try and close that gap a little bit, coming in with no bonus points. It's Malachi Drake, now finishing inside the top three on a podium here at Talladega, certainly helping his playoff cause as we talk to him here. Malachi Drake, do you got us?
I have you.
So talk to us about your night out there. We saw you kind of floating around the front, sometimes going toward the back. What was your game plan for this evening? And maybe talk to us about that lap 22 crash. Were you around that? Did you get caught up in it? And how did that affect your strategy going forward?
My strategy in this race was just kind of be conservative. I wasn't too concerned about stage points because I didn't want to risk their getting caught up in a wreck, which there ended up being one. So a lot of times when I was up front, I was more using that to just kind of experiment, get a feel for like what I might have to do at the end of the race, and just kind of try to keep the car out of trouble and got a few lucky breaks and had a shot at it at the end. But I got some net code when a storm blocked me and it kind of bounced me up the track and into the wall. But so it's P3 still good.
So as we look toward Richmond, what are your thoughts on that track? We've seen you run pretty well around these short tracks here, and now we're going to a pretty speedy one there in Richmond. What are your thoughts on that track, and do you think this is going to help you be able to keep this momentum going all the way to Texas and maybe the next round of the playoffs?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure about Richmond. I've had good success there in the Cup cars and the trucks, but for some reason, the Xfinity series is just kind of I just haven't quite had it there in years in the past few races that I've ran there in Xfinity. So hopefully, whatever I have found in the other series, I can find it in Xfinity and try to get a top 10, which is just my ultimate goal.
So now, as you look toward the rest of the season here, and what does a race like this, Talladega, we know they call it a wild card race, but if you finish well in this race, it still serves as a spark to your season. Is that the case for you? Does this kind of give you some energy and mojo for these next 2 races coming up?
Yeah, I think every race gives the same points, so I think they're all important, and so it doesn't matter where you finish at whatever track. Getting a good points haul and a good finish definitely makes you feel good going into the next weeks. Just psychologically knowing that you just banked a lot of points for your cause in the playoffs. So definitely some good momentum going forward.
All right. Well, it's always good talking to you here. And you know how this goes. When you finish inside the top 5, you get to shout out whoever you want to as you enjoy this finish. So go ahead and rattle off some people you want to mention if you would like to as you enjoy a top 3 finish at Talladega.
Yeah, just a shout out to Eric Heater. Me and him were working together for most of the race, and there at the end, we tried to work together, didn't quite work out, and he got caught up in like one of those near misses. But he definitely helped me stay up towards the front and helped me get on the right strategy there at the end. So shout out to him, and shout out to Benjamin for winning and running a good race.
Awesome. Well, always good hearing from you, Malachi. I look forward to seeing what you do when we head to the Commonwealth of Virginia and Richmond Raceway next week.
All right, thank you.
All right, we keep moving through our interviews here. We get to our second place finisher, the driver of that 6 car, Storm Patterson, getting himself a top 2 finish again this season. He knows how to get the job done around here, battling to the end. Was that 6? And we'll hear from here as this race will likely help him in his playoff fights. Storm Patterson, do you got us?
Yes, sir. I got y'all.
So talk to us about your night out there and how crazy it was for many of the drivers out there, yourself included. I'm going to go straight to lap number 22, if you remember that correctly.
Oh, I remember it.
Talk to us about particularly turn 2, if you want to go ahead and recount your time in that part of the track on that lap.
Yeah. So from what I can remember about that, we drove into turn 1, and we were like P19. We were just riding the back mainly. And coming out of turn 2, we were in P4. Because they junked it, and then we just kind of drove through it. We got really lucky a few times. The door honestly just opened for us. I would like to say it was driver ability that did that, but it really wasn't. It was just honestly being able to pick the right moves, which it's a split-second decision. Yeah, we were able to get through there, and yeah, we were clean, and we kept a clean car from there on out.
So talk about that last lap there and just walk us through from, I guess, taking the white flag all the way back to the start-finish line again. What was your mindset? How were you approaching the end of that race and trying to get the victory here?
Well, honestly, my whole strategy was just ride until we came into pit road and pitted, and Brody, Sartaj, and Mitch all got speeding penalties, so I was the lone Nebula car out there for a little bit. Because Landon and Dog were on 2 separate pit strategies than us because they didn't save as much fuel. But yeah, I got grouped up with Rosero, and big thanks to Rosero. He pulled in clutch there for about 20 laps when he didn't have to. So yeah, he pushed me really good there for a while after we came out of pit road, and then eventually coming to the end. We led a lot there. I think we picked up the most laps led, which is bonus points, so that's nice. But I had Landon and Dog with us, and we were honestly just trying to control the top 2 because there's only a few cars up in the lead pack here. And yeah, we did that for a long time. And then at that last lap, we lost the lead coming to the white, or coming to 2 to go or something like that. I think Eric took the lead there, and then I was able to jump out at the white flag at the line, and then going through 1 and 2, they spun, and I'm like, okay, I just have to be decent from here on out, and I might win this. I had Dog behind me. I'm like, well, I know Dog's probably going to race me, so what do I do here? And me being me, I choked, obviously. So in 3 and 4, coming out of 4, I see Malachi with the biggest run I've ever seen, and to top onto it, I have major left front damage from netcode. So I just see this outside get this big old run, and I'm like, all right, I guess I'll block, because because we were doing another league race a few weeks ago, and Mark won the race by blocking, and that was the first thing that came to my mind. So I went up there, and then it didn't work because me and Malachi did not inch up that well. So Malachi went to the wall. I got clipped. We were a little loose, and then Dog just scooted on by and won. One of the most disappointing white flags ever. I was in a position to win, and I just didn't capitalize on it. I made a mistake, and that's on me. I've made a ton of mistakes this season. I've either finished second or wrecked. It's been no in between, and but that's just how it goes sometimes. So we'll take the P2. It was the start of the playoffs. We haven't had a good run since I think Michigan, where we finished second. We were wrecked out every race from then and there. So honestly, to come out here, run a really, really good race with a bunch of my friends, I really enjoyed it. But it still doesn't take away that I've choked 3 races here. Well, I choked Kansas and I choked here, so and Michigan was just kind of how it fell. But if I had 5 more laps, that's the whole thing. But yeah, happy to come out here and race and finish second. I know at Richmond you probably won't be that much of a contender, so we'll have to wait till Texas, another mile and a half, big shocker, to really contend again. And then, yeah, so looking forward to it. Like I said, just super disappointed in myself more than anything. Congrats to Dog. Big win on his own end. He's been racing here forever, and he is his first win, so big congrats to him. But I really feel like if I had a second shot at it, I would have blocked there. But you know, like I said, that's how it goes sometimes.
So we know you are now the top finisher among the playoff drivers tonight in the race. You got the best finish, obviously finishing second. And you've kind of said maybe Richmond, well, you won't be maybe as part of the picture as you were this evening, but you've already set your eyes on Texas. What are your thoughts on the Texas Motor Speedway? What do you like about that track that makes you feel very confident going there?
Well, I think if you look at our performance and just me as a driver, I tend to be good at more of the mile and a halves. Just mixture of the tire saving and all of that. It really fits my driving style. So that's mainly where I'm coming at. Nothing special about Texas. I'm probably decent there, but yeah, honestly, just the mile and a half fit my driving style more than most of these other tracks. So yeah, that's why my eyes are out on, and it's not just Texas. I mean, in the next round, if we can get in, which I think we probably will be if we can put together good runs. I know if we don't get wrecked, that we'll probably be top 10, top 5. Like, there's no question there. If we don't, like, it's shown all season long. If we don't get involved in anything, we're up there for the win most of the time. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to Atlanta in the next round, Las Vegas and Homestead too. So yeah, honestly, just eyes forward at this point. Keep my head down. I'm disappointed in the moment, but we got a title run to go after. Going against a lot of good guys here. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the playoffs and put together a good run. We just have to, like I said, keep our head down and keep on going at it.
Awesome. Well, you did a great job out there getting the work done to get yourself a second place finish here. And like I said, you're focused on continuing your playoff run, and that will certainly march on as we head to the Commonwealth and Richmond Raceway. Before we let you go, is there anyone you want to shout out or mention as you enjoy this runner-up finish?
Yeah, Fort Worth Screen Printing, being on the car as always, John and them, they support me a lot. Can't thank them enough. Nebula Esports, of course. Everyone over here is amazing. We're all really good friends. It's always the most enjoyable time to come out here and run these plate tracks with them because we're usually all together and we can make dumb moves and whatnot. And yeah, it's fun to come out here with the Nebula guys. Landon Mills Designs are putting this paint scheme out on the track. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Brody, everyone for giving me this opportunity for being on Nebula, to be honest. And I know I probably haven't shown what I need to show to be on, honestly, a decent team. Yeah, well, decent's a big understatement, but you know what I mean. I appreciate all of them a lot, and honestly, whenever I race some of them, I don't think I deserve to be on here, but I appreciate all of them more than they'll know. So yeah, we'll move on to next week and see how it goes.
Awesome. We'll look forward to seeing what you do when we head to Richmond Raceway, but congratulations on another second place finish and a great run here at Talladega Superspeedway.
Oh, also, I'd like to shout out, or not shout out, I just want to call him out on broadcast. I was supposed to do a fantasy trade with him, and he said that the deal was he was going to push me tonight, and he did not do any of that tonight. I don't think there is a speck of orange paint on my rear bumper. So, no trade, Sartosh. Trade is off. Trade is off. He is not getting Leonard Fournette.
Playoffs are around the corner, too. Ooh, you hate to see it. Ooh, you hate to see it.
All right, thank you for the broadcast, man.
No problem. Thank you. That's Storm Patterson finishing in the second position. So now we get to our race winner, Benjamin White, who goes to victory lane here in thrilling fashion, and I'm sure he's elated to talk about the race he had here, and we'll talk to him now. Benjamin White, you got us.
Yes, sir.
So talk to us about your thoughts here going to victory lane here at Talladega Superspeedway, a great place to get the first win.
I just think back to that truck race, like last season trucks. I got it literally stolen from me at the last second there, and to win at this place, just it means a lot, because I've come close a lot of times in this league. This is the longest tenured league I've raced on iRacing, so to win here is extra special. It's just really awesome. Hats off to everybody in that race. I'm pretty sure we went green flag racing the whole way outside of that stage yellow, which is just incredible. Great job, everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys did go green the entire way through there. And, talk to me about, I want to go back to lap 22, right around that window. When you guys were up there racing for basically the stage win there, you were out there leading that group, and then you likely heard or saw in your mirror the calamity breaking out there. What was going through your mind seeing that big crash there in turn 2?
Well, I knew a lot of the competition would be gone from that because they were all flipping, flying. There was cars all over the place. So I knew a lot of people had gotten taken out by that. I'd like to thank my teammate for wrecking everybody, but that he did not do that on purpose. He's just kind of bad. But anyways, let's keep going here. That took out a lot of the competition. Got me the stage win. It doesn't really mean a lot for points because I'm not in the chase. So all I did was take people's bonus points away. But yeah, glad to get the stage and the race win. I just realized that. Swept it tonight.
That you did. It was very impressive watching you out there. And talk to us about that last lap. What was going through your mind? How did you approach from taking the white flag all the way to getting that checkered? Walk us through what was going through your mind and what your mindset was, what your approaches were to try and get to victory here tonight.
Well, I knew I had been kind of left out on the bottom coming off 2 to go. So I knew most likely they were going like clear down. I saw Storm make a move. I saw Eric Heater block it. And I would have just pushed Heater if he would have actually been clear. I did not mean to turn him at all. He just wasn't clear when he came down. And he had a lot of time, so I was expecting to just have to push him, but come down just a little too late and turn himself off my nose. And I thought momentum was going to be gone there, and then Storm drops in front of me. So I'm just thinking I'm going to have to push him to the win because, Malachi's going to be pinching like it's St. Patrick's Day. So, yeah, I don't know if he had any help behind him, but I was just going to push Storm in. Come out 4. I was just thinking, all right, Storm's got this win. He moves up to block them. They all get out of shape and in the wall and all over the place. And I'm just down there on the bottom like, did I just win this? I'm about to say a curse word, my bad. Anyways, I was about to say, did I just win this? And crossing the line, you should have heard me, dude. I was screaming because I've come so close so many times in this league. Finally to win one, it's just amazing. Hats off to everybody in the lead pack. Just the last 20 laps. I don't know, there was like 7 of us, but we put on a great show.
Yeah, you guys certainly narrowed down the field there, and you were in the right place at the right time to get the job done. And you were one of the strong cars out there around this big track, and it's got to be a great feeling there. We know you've kind of done races off and on, so we got Richmond coming up. We've got Texas coming up. You put on a great show at Chicagoland in these cars a few months ago. Could we see you come back out for Texas? Is that a track that's in your wheelhouse?
Texas specifically, no. 1.5 miles, sure. Texas, definitely not. Richmond, I can't do short tracks in this car. I can do it in like ARCA and trucks, but not in these cars. I'm not that great at short tracks. Although I did lead a lap at Bristol somehow, but
Lap
um,
lead is a lap
I,
lead.
I don't think I'll be at Richmond, but I'll probably come for Texas to be honest with you. Not really a fan of the track. Not really that good there, but we'll see what we can do. I do need to be more active here, so maybe momentum from this race will help me out a little bit.
Well, you put on a great show out there. Really enjoyed watching you tear around the speedway. Anyone you want to shout out or mention as you enjoy your first win here in the Redline Racing family of leagues and first win this season?
Yeah, I'd like to thank you, Mike, for broadcasting. You do a great job all the time. I watch almost all of them back that I'm in. It's just the quality is second to none on these. So thank you and thank Cody for hosting this. Hats off to all the officials and everybody did a good job. Hats off to all the drivers. I'd like to thank my teammates on Nebula Esports. They just brought me on like 2 weeks ago, so glad to represent them in a winning way. As for sponsors, not a whole lot of them. I'd like to thank Landon Mills Paints. He painted this beautiful Stars and Stripes Nebula Esports paint scheme. I would like to thank the team as well as we're affiliated with them. And no thanks to Rocket Racing Setups. They dropped us. Guys, they made a mistake at checkout for your Rocket Racing setup. They might sell one to you. I don't know. We'll see. But other than that, that's all I have to think. I'm just really I cannot find words. I'm looking all over the place. I cannot find words for this. It's just incredible.
Well,
Thank you, everyone.
congratulations. Always good to talk to you. It's always great to have a first-time winner in here, and congratulations. You always remember the first one, and, fantastic job out there. Look forward to seeing what you do when we go to Richmond, go to Texas, and more racing in the future, but always congratulations on this first win at Talladega Superspeedway.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, that'll wrap up our interviews here, and what a show that was here at Talladega. One caution flag. Yes, we had some incidents here or there, but I guess the flag man and the spotters were just like, I don't know, having a hot dog or something. They were like, the racing is fine. So one caution flag right at lap 22 went green the rest of the way after lap 26, and they gave us a great show. Green flag pit stops, great battle to the end, and everything in between.
Yeah, definitely. And talk about the flag man. I think they were still on vacation. They didn't get the memo that we're 100% back tonight. No, but honestly, the caution, it's iRacing. So, if it don't happen on the track and they're spinning, they do a little loop down off track and they get back going. It's, kind of one of those things where they don't throw it. And we've had a lot of near misses tonight. We did have the big one, the only big one, and the only wreck, and well, technically the only wreck caused the caution. Yeah, what was that? That was 60. Oh man, math is really hard. No, 50, 56 something. I don't even know how many laps it was. It was definitely a lot. 60 something laps that we went green right there in a row, and they did a hell of a job, and I wanted a new winner. Not discrediting the guys that were up there like Landon Mills and others. But I definitely wanted a new winner and got that, and I think it was a good show, a good opening show, and I did the points and everything. Already looked it over. Everybody's still close, but obviously had trouble, or more in a hole that didn't. So next week will be the telltale story of who after that race, who is in a bad spot and who's in a good spot.
There are going to be a lot of stories to tell once we head to the Commonwealth and Richmond Raceway next week. 1 week from today, we'll be running 200 laps there at the Richmond Raceway, the RV Racing 200, and then No Limits Texas 201 at Texas Motor Speedway. And, I still always keep going back to how unique that race was. We ran there last season. So any insights on what kind of race we'll see when we head to Texas? Are we running at night? Are we running in the daytime? How are we running there as we look toward heading to Fort Worth here in 2 weeks?
Just gonna say one thing: history repeats itself.
There you go. That's all we need to know. So be sure to tune in for that race here in 2 weeks, because I loved calling that one. And then, of course, you see, once we get past Texas, we'll go ahead and cut the field down by 4, bringing 10 drivers into the round of 10. Charlotte Roval. Be sure to watch Landon Mills, and we head there. Atlanta, where we saw Brody Gardner be very fast there last season, besting Dylan Alt in a overtime shootout, and then Dover Downs, Dover International Speedway, playing host before we decide which 5 drivers will head to the championship round. So a lot of racing left to come. A great way to kick things off here on the channel to begin the Corey Hart's Media Premier Series playoffs. And congratulations, a non-playoff driver taking the trophy here tonight, Benjamin White. His first victory here in the Redline Racing family of leagues. All the more sweet here at Talladega Superspeedway. We'll see you in 1 week when we head to Richmond Raceway, my home track, for some short track racing.